Welcome to the 2017 FIA World Rallycross Championship presented by Monster Energy. We're about to kickstart the fourth ever season of World RX. The sport of Rallycross celebrates its 50th anniversary this year, and half a century on it now boasts a world-class field of talent who are assembled here in eager anticipation of what promises to be the hardest, toughest, most unrelenting motorsport championship on the planet. For the first time ever, the season starts here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya in Spain. The championship will travel to 11 countries, visit all the classic RX tracks, and to complete the calendar, we finish up with a brand new event in Cape Town, South Africa. This is the third season we've raced here in Barcelona. It's a fast track with a late joker lap, so hold your breath. It's going to be drama all the way to the checkered flag. It's all changed for 2017. Here's how they line up for the new season. The first of our 6 teams are EKS, featuring team owner and reigning world champion Matthias Ekström, with teammate Topi Heikkinen, and now including official backing from Audi Sport. Ekström led from early on in 2016, taking 4 victories in the Audi S1, clinching both the drivers' and teams' championships.
I expect the championship to be more wide open, that will be more guys battling for the top spot, and even if you go home from Barcelona not having 30 points, I think the championship is far from over, so you can still improve. The biggest news came that we got factory support from Audi, and that was what I think not only me, the whole team have been waiting for, that we can continue this dream project and keep doing what we're doing. It's so different when you come into a championship being the champ. When it comes to the sport, it's no different. I still have, as all the other guys, 0 points when we start this weekend. So everything back to ground zero.
Stard are a new Austrian setup run by Manfred Stoll, and the drivers involved are very familiar too. 2016 teammates Timo Timosjanov and Janis Balmanis have both moved there and bring experience of the Ford Fiesta. It's a new team and a new teammate for 2-time champion Petter Solberg, as he joins forces with 2016 runner-up Johan Kristoffersson in the new PSRX Volkswagen Sweden outfit, also now with manufacturer support.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and after we've been driving the same car for many years now, it's very, very good passion and kick to get into this Polo GTI. So I'm very excited. I don't know where we're standing yet, but we have done everything we can, the whole team, to get where we are now, and we are very excited ourselves tomorrow to see how the speed is. I feel top form, and now it's coming differently. I feel very good. Very excited, maybe even more passion now than any time, you know. Looks good for the future.
MJP Racing Team Austria are an evolution of last season's World RX Team Austria. It's the same Ford Fiesta, but with a new driver lineup. Exciting young RX talent Kevin Eriksson and ultra-experienced racer Timo Scheider, who has signed up for World RX full-time for 17. The team built front-running cars last year. Can this pair deliver on that potential? The Hoonigan Racing division were the new boys installed in 2016, not that you would have known. Andreas Backer had claimed 3 victories in the then new-to-RX Ford Focus RS, making the young Norwegian many people's tip for the championship this time round. Combine that with the superstar status and experience of Ken Block, and Hoonigan will be looking to make a lot of noise this season.
To be honest, I feel very good. No, I feel great. You know, testing been good. I feel that we have worked on what we wanted, and I just want to get started and start driving and start racing and look at the timesheet.
By their own high standards, Peugeot Hansen had a disappointing year last season, even though both Timmy Hansen and Sebastian Loeb bagged a victory. Their eyes will be on the title this campaign, but it will depend on whether the team can avoid another slow start to a new season. Barcelona will answer that.
I hope we will be able to fight for more victories than last year, to be, even if it's not a victory, but to be in the top of the field, and that's what I hope. So We took some experience from last year, also of our car, how it is reacting, how we are driving it, and try to improve it. So now we will see.
There will be 6 full-time solo entries this year. Euro RX champion Kevin Hansen steps up to the World Championship in a third Peugeot Hansen car, while Reinis Nitish will be at the wheel of a third Audi EKS. Expect both to help try and steal points from rival teams. Cornel Chuchu Lukacs brings the GG Gali-built Kia Rio to World RX, and along with Brit Guy Wilkes, Frenchman Jean-Baptiste Dubourg and Finn Niklas Gronholm will all be hoping to emulate Petter Solberg's success as a former solo entrant. Okay, that's the drivers who are taking on the challenge this year. Let's see what they need to do to win in World RX. This is the championship format facing all world drivers. During the season, there will be 12 rounds of competition across the planet. At each round, each driver will compete in 4 timed qualifying sessions, which consist of 5-car races. Only the top 12 qualify to the semi-finals. From the 6-car semis, top 3 go through, bottom 3 are eliminated. In the final, it's a straight fight to the finish, with the top drivers taking their place on the podium. More RX education later in the show. With 5 marques represented on the World RX grid in 2017, it's going to be a fascinating technical battle all season. Barcelona will see if their winter development paid dividends. Let's take a look at the first track of the year. Well, it's the first time that the championship has started here in Spain. The Barcelona track, 1,125 metres long, 1,278 with the last corner Joe collapse. 60% asphalt, 40% dirt, and we're on board with the world champion Matthias Ekström. He comes up through turn 1. You can see it was very damp when he was on track. This was early in free practice. Up into turn 2, a downhill long left-hander. He allows the car to run a little wider than normal there, probably because the track's a bit greasy. Into the left, and again you can still see damp patches on the gravel here, but Ekström opens up the throttle and fires the car down the hill, braking down towards the hairpin, a little nip on the handbrake, and then easy on the throttle, feed it in, and then pulling gears hard on the gas up the hill as we transition back from the tarmac onto the gravel. This right-hander is crucial. Keep it in tight on the right-hand side. If you go on the throttle too early, you run wide, and then the left is tricky before the jump. Straight over the crest, bang on the brakes, turn it into the right-hand side. The Joker is straight on. Ekström takes the standard lap round to the left, on the gas and over the line. Coming up, we've got highlights of the action from qualifying 1 and 2, the best of the action from qualifying 3. It's crunch time in Q4, only the top 12 qualify. Only the top 3 go through in the live World RX Supercar semi-finals. Our first final of the season is for the supercars of Euro RX, and then the big one, the World RX Supercar final live. All eyes were on track as the action got underway in Barcelona, with everyone keen to know just who had got their winter homework right. It was Kevin Eriksson who set the early benchmark in Q1, taking on and beating Sebastian Loeb. World champion Matthias Ekström made a great start in his race, but 2016 runner-up Johan Kristoffersson made short work of getting past him. Kristoffersson then disappeared into the distance, suggesting that the new PSRX Volkswagen Sweden Polo is a serious contender.
That's what we have been dreaming about since Argentina last year, so of course that's a dream start, but everyone has been working really hard during the winter, you can see on the practice. But yeah, I was a bit lucky in the start, was able to do the crossover on Ekström, so from there it was just focusing on my own, and I mean I like the rain, so that was good.
The PSRX VW team had taken the controversial move to place the radiator at the front of the car, going against 50 years of perceived rallycross wisdom. But after Q1, all the technical decisions looked to be paying off as Kristoffersson and new teammate Petter Solberg sat first and third respectively. One of the other pre-event technical talking points in the paddock was the ride height of the Hoonigan Fords, seemingly lower than last year. Both Ken Block and Andreas Backerud performed well in Q1, with Block finishing a particularly impressive second overall.
You know, in the off-season, we're able to figure out exactly what settings we wanted and had for all these different conditions. So when it started raining, we adjusted for it. I adjusted mentally for it, and the testing and everything we did worked. Last year was really frustrating. The car just did not work for me, and I've never had a more frustrating season. So it's good to have it all figured out now and be back on top.
Q2, and although he didn't know it at the time, EKS driver Topi Heikkinen posted what would be the fastest time of the day in race 3. The rain started slowly at first, but by the time the final race of the day took to the track, it was soaked and the rain was torrential. Backward turned across Solberg in turn 1 and the resulting contact put Backward into the wall hard. That left teammate Ken Block nowhere to go at the corner exit, and he collected him.
I don't think I hit Backerud. I don't think so. Because I think I lost it completely. And if something happened, you know, he must have, when he came back, I'm not sure, but I don't think I hit him when I looked on the film.
I had a very good start from the outside. I tried to go smoothly in, and I think what happened was just a little racing accident. I came in and Solberg and Matthias got a bit out, and as you saw, it was raining, it was slippery. I lost the rear of the car and just ended up in the wall, spun around, got back out on track, and then my teammate Ken hits me, unfortunately. To be honest, it's the biggest impact I've ever had in a car.
After Backward's retirement, there was yet more drama. Ekstrom took the lead from Petter, who after his joker lap found himself down in 4th place. Solberg was fighting back and muscled his way past Block, who tried forcefully to take back 3rd just 1 corner later, but with no luck. Topi Heikkinen tops the overnight standings, followed by Timo Scheider, who is making his full-time debut in World RX. Despite finishing 17th in Q2, Johan Kristoffersson sits 3rd overall, thanks to his Q1 win. There are some very big names further down the table. Block, Ekstrom, Solberg, all losing out thanks to the rain. But the biggest name in trouble is Andreas Backerud. Tipped by many for the championship, at the moment that must feel a very long way away. The Hoonigan team has an enormous amount of work to do to try and get the car repaired in time for Q3.
So behind the scenes here at EKS RX, where the boss, Matthias Ekstrom, is talking to Chris Meek. First of all, hello, Chris Meek. Sorry to interrupt. How are you?
I am very well, yeah.
Good. Nice to see you. Just a quick word with you, Matthias. Not the easiest of Q2s. Q1 went very well, but Q2 just got very wet very quickly. Tell us about it.
It was so funny because we were standing here having our pre-meeting for the session, and we said, oh, it's unfair for the guys to go first because the track will improve. And I said, guys, don't forget it can rain even worse. So I was right, unfortunately. So just when the last 2 heats were about to race, the rain came, and then the last one even more. So we were sliding around. It was quite entertaining, but unfortunately pretty slow. So I won the heat and was okay with this, but total time was nothing really impressive.
And for you, it must feel good that you're still in the top 12.
Yeah, I mean, Rallycross, you should get used to this. All the teams voted to have use our free practice result as qualifying, so you would have a 100% sportsmanship event. But now with the lottery, it mixes up everything, so you can't really foresee everything. If you go first or last, the weather is changing. So I believe over a year it evens out, but for sure on the one weekend you feel pretty disappointed when you get caught up by the weather. But in my case, in Q2, we were in the right position, but then, God heaven, it's an outdoor sport, decided to make a difference. So generally, still I'm quite happy. My car is in one piece, we're making good progress, makes it a bit faster, heat by heat, so pretty happy with this. But also Topi, I mean, he's leading overnight, so EKS can be very proud of this, and I think that's quite good, so can't complain much.
Toppy, end of day one, you find yourself as top qualifier, which is a brilliant start to the season. Now, give us an idea of just how slippery that circuit is when it's wet.
It's really slippery. I mean, the top part of the gravel is like mud. It's like a really mud surface over there, and it's really hard to also read the road. It's really hard to know, is it really dry or wet? So it's really challenging for drivers.
Now, there's been a few big incidents, particularly Andreas Backerud hit the wall quite hard. Have you managed to stay out of trouble today?
Yeah, but tomorrow is a new day, and I'm on the fastest heat, so there can be some moments, but we try to avoid them, and we try to make a clean run for my team.
And for you personally, the confidence must be good to begin the season with a day like today, going forward for the rest of this season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always good to stand on a P1 than P15 or something like this. So.
Here is a quick update on a few things you need to know in RX education. First up, the Joker. Every driver must complete one longer lap, shown here in white, once every race. They can choose when, and that choice can be critical. The point system. Once all 4 rounds of qualifying are completed, the fastest aggregate driver receives 16 championship points, descending to 1 point for the 16th placed competitor. In the semis, the first to cross the line takes 6 championship points, descending to 1 point for the last to finish. It's the same for the final, but the first to finish gets 8 points instead of 6 for winning the event. Come the end of the season, the driver with the most points will take the title. The RX supercars are 600 brake horsepower turbocharged beasts, powered by a 2-litre engine generating 900 Newton meters of torque. 0 to 60, they're faster than an F1 car, and you need to be very, very talented to handle one.
My name's Andrew Coley. Alongside me this weekend will be Hal Ridge, Rallycross journalist and driver, and Liam Dorn, of course, World Rallycross driver himself. Neil Colt reporting from the paddock. Topi Heikkinen and Timo Scheider top the standings overnight, and that's thanks to those mixed weather conditions which see some of our top drivers, Solberg and Ekstrom, look right down on the cusp of not making the semi-finals. The weather forecast for day 2, much better. Guy Wilkes looked just outside the top 12 as well. Niklas Gronholm Backerud, one person who desperately needs to get his car fixed in time to be out for Q3. On to the early races of qualifying 3, and this was Backerud and Block. After their contact, of course, nothing that Block could do about that. Backerud getting collected in turn 1 by Solberg as he tried to shut the door on him, and then Block getting in on the wall on the right-hand side of your picture there. Backerud fully recovered, took the win, and it was a great time. Kristoffersen stalled at the start in his race. That wasn't ideal, but he made a great recovery. Petter Solberg and Schiesrich doing battle. Kristoffersen got to the back of them very quickly indeed, and then pressed on and managed to come across the line behind his teammate. There was contact at the start in the next one, the big squeeze on, and Baumanis ended up out on the gravel. Kevin Eriksson got around the outside in the gravel to get past him. Meanwhile, Matthias Ekstrom was out front in the EKS Audi, doing a fantastic job. Q3, couple of races still to go. Some quick ones in this as well. Timmy Hansen and Sebastian Loeb are on the outside. Niklas Gronholm in the middle. Herve Lemonnier and Choo Choo on the inside in the Kia Rio. Choo Choo, it has to be said, has done very well. Look at the green graphics at the bottom, tell you that they've got new tyres on. The grey ones are used tyres. There are no wet tyres, of course, because it's a lovely day in Spain, which it was not yesterday. So Choo Choo on the inside, so has got some brilliant starts. I have to say, I've been impressed by the Kia Rio here in Barcelona. Hopefully we're going to see Gali in that later on in the year as well. Gronholm in the middle is in the XM Sport Fiesta. Oh, I wondered if that was a jump start from Choo Choo. I'm sure he was moving before the lights changed, but either way, he's on the inside up into turn 1. Loeb goes alongside him. Hansen sensibly slots in behind. Gronholm's on the inside of Hansen. Hansen now passes Loeb up the inside. Gronholm's going to try and go with him. Loeb's going to try and go around the outside down to turn 2. But Choo Choo is leading after either a rocket ship start, or possibly what looked like a jump start.
It was very, very close, wasn't it? But if he didn't jump start, it was a great hookup.
It was a great hookup. Was he doing that all day yesterday? I mean, that's incredible. Oh, Loeb's gone round. Was Hansen in the rear?
It was all bunched up into that hairpin there. I didn't quite see what happened, but Loeb certainly got rotated around the front of his teammate.
So Loeb drops back. That's, I think that's Eric Fahren and Susan Hansen as well. So Susan, happy birthday to Susan Hansen. I don't think she'll be thinking about birthday cake and a few beers right now. They're a little bit busy. Lemonnier is, where's Loeb? How far back has Loeb dropped? Can't see where Loeb is. As Loeb actually, and Loeb comes round now in front of the commentary position. So Loeb has lost a ton of time with that spin at the bottom of the hill. Maybe stalled it, Hal.
Yeah, perhaps so, and it looks like he might have a puncture on the rear right there, so that will obviously hinder his course further.
It will, unfortunate for Sebastian Loeb, and that's the way it goes. He was having a go on a computer game the other day, and he thought Timmy Hansen had taken him out on that. When he looked at the replays, he'd actually taken himself out in the computer game, as he was a character and a player.
The pair of them had an awfully awkward incident in Latvia last year, didn't they? When Timmy dropped it on the wet into the third corner and collected Sebastian. That's between teammates. That's obviously not intentional.
I mean, and Hansen as well dropped it from a long way back. Do you remember? I mean, it was so wet, wasn't it? And he dropped it, and he couldn't have done anything to avoid Loeb. Choo-choo into the Joker lap. Hansen takes the standard lap. So Hansen's now the only one not to a Joker. Check your graphics, top left. Timmy Hansen leading.
Kushku is obviously doing a great job here, better than expected, I think. It's not unfair to say that to him, but he's helped Timmy there by jokering and getting out of his way so Timmy can achieve the potential of the new 208 and go on to set a faster time.
There's the damage on the front of Hansen's car, which I assume is from that contact with Sebastian Loeb. 3:12.4 is the target from extra, and behind him is Bakker, behind him is Solberg. They're all within 1.4 seconds of each other. And we're about to see the fourth manufacturer possibly join the top of that table as well. What are you thinking, Hal?
The track hasn't got much quicker than the earlier races, which is surprising given that it was so wet overnight, but the dust will be helping to bind the loose surface and make it more consistent.
Choo-choo comes around on his Joker. I have to say, this is impressive, and the Kia Rio's looking a bit quicker than last year.
Yeah, Galli's done a lot of development work on that car. They struggled a bit last year because they were developing as they were racing. And Kushku was in European Championship but not pulling up too many trees last year, so together they've obviously made this work very, very well together.
Hansen down the hill, there's the target time, 3:12.4. Thank you, Hal Ridge, for fantastic insight. You'll have read tons of stuff from Hal on the various different motorsport outlets. Great journalist and a Super 1600 driver himself. In fact, he's driven loads of supercars recently, which made me very jealous, and I may ban him from the commentary box in future if he continues to notch them up. But back to the racing, Hansen with a clatter as he lands the underguard of the car after the jump into the left-hander. He's not going to match the times of the cars in front. That's interesting. So Peugeot crosses the line with a 3:14.8. So Ekstrom with a 3:12.4, Bakker with a 3:13.4, Solberg with a 3:13.8. It is looking like all four of the manufacturer-backed teams are on a very similar pace indeed. We are in for a mega season of World RX. Eric Fahren in the spotters tower. There's Kenneth Hansen, calm as always. Sebastian Loeb coming round now. What's that going to do to Loeb's qualifying situation? A long way back. The tyre looks intact, so some sort of a problem after that contact, maybe broken transmission. And they roll back towards the paddock. Timmy Hansen, 3:14.8. Choo-choo, 3:18.5. Where will that put him? Puts him down in P8, I think. Hansen is the first one to go through to 4, so Choo-choo is actually just outside the front page, and we've got one race still to come in Q3.
Kenneth, good result for Timmy. A little bit of contact in there, and the time is like 1 second slower, but it's super tight.
Yeah, it is, and I mean, we lost quite a lot in the beginning there behind the Choo-choo, so I think we are in the speed if you look on last lap time. So I don't know what happened with Seb, a mistake or something in the car, but at the moment we are in the game at least.
Very good, see you later.
See you later, yeah.
Off the line. This was up towards turn 1, so Choo-choo on the inside really hooked it up. We didn't really see there, did we? But it looked as close to a jump start as you can get without getting one.
Absolutely, that's what you're trying to achieve as a driver, isn't it? You want to get as quickly off the line as you can.
They can't predict the lights in what do you think there, seeing that again?
I don't know if Loeb had a problem as he came in there because he looked like he was spinning before. Maybe he's lost the front drive there.
Yeah, you can see, can't you? So possibly here, when you saw, you can't see from the onboard, that's onboard with Gron on, but when Loeb tried to light it up, and of course that's why he lost so much time, so he ended up with another spin having gone round again, so that would then suggest, wouldn't it, as you say, front drive maybe, and he's lost some time, but Hansen had a relatively clear run. They'll be hoping for a little bit more pace from the Peugeot. It's early days just yet. The last race of Q3 rolls up to the line. There's Kevin Hansen completing the grid on the outside. Inside him, JB de Boer, Rainis Nittisch, Timo Scheider and Topi Heikkinen. So you can see at the bottom there, first and second and fourth and sixth, in fact, after Q2. So those guys getting the best of the tyre choices, the weather, the luck, whatever way you want to look at it. All of these guys are in the semi-finals at the minute. They're all on brand new tyres. But of most interest to us is Topi Heikkinen on the inside with Timo Scheider alongside in P1 and P2. Although I have to say Kevin Hansen in P4 is pretty impressive as well. Let's see who gets this one hooked up. Thumbs up, last race of Q3. Revs up. Lights change, pretty even start. Kevin has to dip the clutch on the outside. Looked like he was going to stall. Nittisch is getting a squeeze on, and it's Heikkinen's had to drop back into P3. Kevin's got up the inside of JB de Boer. Heikkinen's going to think twice about taking Nittisch out, but it's Scheider who gets down into turn 2 first.
The fact that two cars had a reasonably slower start there made it that the pack didn't bunch up quite so much into the first corner.
So a little bit easier then. Scheider, I have to say, has been impressive all weekend. He's had good starts. Those cars have both had good starts.
He was very impressive last year, wasn't he? And now he's in a car that we know had great potential last year, so we can see what he can do.
What's going to be the difference too, Hal? Because obviously he'd jump in a car and then go off and do some DTM or whatever and come back. It's not consistent. Now he's had testing pre-season and we're seeing the results of that. He's doing an extra.
They have had pre-season testing, but he's also working with Kevin Eriksson, who has a lot of Rallycross experience, so they can share data, they can share information and move each other forward.
Heikkinen dives into the Joker lap, comes out nice and tight on the paint on the inside. Wasn't the best of starts for Topi. He'll be hoping he can maintain a position right at the top of the table, but I wonder if Scheider takes this, whether or not he'll go up to top qualifier. It remains to be seen. You'll find out at the very end of this race. And Rainis Nittisch, of course, great to see him in an EKS car as well. We've got so many drivers in top cars now.
It is, yeah, and Rainis was another one of those people that had the good and the bad of the two different conditions in the two qualifying races yesterday. So he's pleased to be in the semi-final positions currently, but wants to improve this morning to make sure he makes the top 12.
It kind of evened out, didn't it, really? Because sometimes you feel like the weather's a bit unfair in Rallycross, because if it had been dry for Q1, you just say, okay, the guys in Q2 were really unlucky, but actually the early runners in Q1, the track was still very green, very damp, and the conditions were flipped, albeit much worse in Q2.
Yes, it actually worked out to be very fair yesterday, didn't it? Which keeps things interesting.
It does keep things interesting indeed. Nittisch being chased by Hansen. Nittisch runs a bit wide there.
Hansen had an off-colour day by his own high expectations yesterday, didn't he? But he was helped by the weather and ended up 4th overnight. That's an updated version of the 2016 208, not the 2015 car he drove last year, so he's also got to get used to the new dynamics of that different chassis, and he's doing very well.
He hasn't got the new aerodynamics that the 2017 cars have got. I wonder if we'll see that during the course of the season. And of course, him and Nittisch, I think I don't think they're going to be subject to team orders often, but if there's a situation where they're P12 and one of the factory drivers, if you like, or the selected drivers is behind them, they might get asked to move.
For sure, they're not scoring points for the team, but they are team players, and I'm sure they will do what they need to do to help the team achieve as much as they possibly can.
Target time, bottom right, 3:12.4 is Matthias Ekstrom's time. There is Ekstrom's teammate Heikkinen, who this time hooks it up onto the curbs on the inside. De Boer going with him, and then around the right and the left. Look at that beautiful view in the background. Promise you couldn't see any of that yesterday. Absolutely soaking wet and tons of cloud. We're looking as we come round. Go on, Hal.
Scheider's pulling away from two experienced Rallycross drivers here, which is very interesting.
Yes, indeed. Very, very good point. Hal's got a big grin on his face, so have I. Are we going to see Scheider being one of the players this season? He comes around, backs it into the Joker lap, turns it around over the curves on the inside. Nittisch goes in with him, Kevin Hansen as well. Scheider's going to take the flag. How close is it going to be? 3:13.0. Scheider goes P2 behind Matthias Ekstrom. That's an absolutely fantastic performance by him. Oh, yes, fist pump. Absolutely over the moon at MJP Team Austria. They've signed an absolute stormer in Scheider. This guy loves his Rallycross. He's always got a grin on his face. And I think that grin's going to be even bigger. What a performance, 3:13.0. Nittisch second, 3:16.7. That's going to be down in P8. So this is where they slot in. In fact, Nittisch is behind Timosjanov, in fact, as well. So Scheider goes in P2. Brilliant performance by him. Ekstrom wins Q3, and we'll be able to see what the overall standings are in just a minute.
An incredible drive there by Timo. Talk us through that race.
Yeah, we had so much fun with this guy. We make so hard work in the winter time, and we got a good setup for this car. But we also had a great driver with Timo Scheider, and he shows this now what he has done in the DTM racing, and now he did in Rallycross. So I think we will do a lot more this weekend.
Fantastic, well done, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, the team really, really pleased with that. There was Kevin having to dip the clutch just off the line. I'm guessing slightly too low on the RPM, but Scheider got the whole shot here, and Halley never looked back.
He didn't know, and it's great for Rallycross, isn't it? Fantastic for the sport to have the manufacturer entries, but this is a private team mixing it with them, and that's brilliant.
Absolutely amazing. And Scheider as well, a relatively new driver to the sport, coming in and mixing it with them. I keep saying it, but I think we're in for an absolutely fantastic season. This was Häkkinen dipping into the Joker lap. He'll be right up there, having been P1 overnight, but I wonder if Scheider will go ahead of him. It'll depend how close the points were yesterday. Renowned for my terrible maths. We'll have to wait for the graphics to let you know. Scheider around the Joker, taking the checker flag. There were nowhere near him. What a brilliant drive. Well, the crowd enjoyed that, as did we. I hope you did at home too. Let's have a look at the standings after Q3. Timo Scheider is indeed the top qualifier. Matthias Ekström, his DTM rival, is in P2. Kristoffersen stays P3 despite that trouble yesterday in Q2 with the rain. Häkkinen drops from P1 to P4. Timmy Hansen, Petter Solberg, Reinis Nittisch, Kevin Hansen are the top 8. Andreas Baccarat is in. I'm surprised about that yesterday after his problems in Q2. Ken Block as well. Guy Wilkes in P11 and J.B. Dubourg at the minute. Kevin Eriksson, Janis Baumanis and Sebastian Loeb down in P16. Is he going to make the semi-finals, or is Kevin Hansen and Timmy Hansen going to make them ahead of him? Well, if you're a regular viewer of the World Rallycross Championship, you will know that we try to bring you some fantastic slow-motion pictures from the morning warm-up on Saturday. We send our cameras out there and see these wonderful machines in action, close-up and slow motion. This is Andreas Baccarat in the Ford Focus RS-RX coming through turn 2, keeping it super tight on the red and white curves on the left-hand side. And that allows you then to get the car turned in really tight on the right as you transition onto the gravel section. Matthias Ekström, watch here in the centre of his screen. You'll see his fingertips appear and he pulls the handbrake, and the car will now rotate nicely around the apex to the left. Look at the back wheel. There it is, fully locked up. Front wheel still turning. There's a release in there to allow the rear wheels to separate from the front on the full drive system, and then scrabbling for grip. Look at that, 600 horsepower through the 4 Cooper tyres on the power down the hill on the gravel section. Petter Solberg, normally spectacular and sideways, here very tidy. Are we going to see a new driving style for him in his brand new Volkswagen back Polo? The car looking absolutely amazing. Again, use of the handbrake to turn the car in. This gravel section's been resurfaced over the winter. They dug it down about 20 centimetres, changed the base material and mixed it with Dust-X. And that means we won't see any dust problems here at Barcelona. We're going to see some stunning pictures. But for the drivers, you can see the wheel spin from Solberg's car here has gone up thanks to the decrease in grip when that Dust-X gets wet. Loeb with wipers on. There were some spots of rain during morning warm-up. Over the curbs on the left-hand side again, the 9-time World Rally Champion continues to carry the 9 on his car. I wonder if he wins this one, if he'll switch to the 1 or to the 10. What a record, though. The Peugeot 208 looking absolutely fantastic this season. They've done work over the winter. You can see that front wheel arch there, flared behind the front wheels. And now look at the rear. Again, huge flares on those arches. Timmy Hansen saying that the car feels different thanks to that. And this is a lovely rear shot of the transition. So coming from the left-hand side to the right, and you'll see Loeb just at the beginning of his flick to change the car's direction. Here's Kristoffersen again on that same section, so opposite lock to try and gather the car up from the previous left-hander. If you get the timing just right, you can lift. The weight transfers to the other end of the car will turn in nicely and then back on the gas again and powering the car down the hill. Look at that left foot on the brake, watch the brake lights flare, and he pulls the car in just to the apex before he gets back on the gas and push it into a lovely sideways slide all the way down. Airtime for Kristoffersen, a decent sized jump here in Barcelona. As it dries out, we can expect to see them fly further, but the Polo landing absolutely beautifully. Fantastic stuff, as always. Here are the standings ahead of Q4. Timo Scheider doing a fantastic job at the top of the table. Matthias Ekström behind him, the two DTM boys right up top. Kristoffersen, Heikkinen, Timmy Hansen, Petter Solberg, Reini Snittish and Kevin Hansen. Good job by Kevin as well to be right up there in the top 8 in the third Peugeot. Bakker, Ken Block, Guy Wilkes and Dubourg are currently just inside the top 12, but interesting is Sebastian Loeb, way down in 16th. He has never, ever not made the semis. On board with Gronholm at the start of Q4. He had to give best after contact on the way up to turn 1, while Sebastian Loeb was in the business of trying desperately to make it through to the semi-finals. Dusty offline, Loeb managed to take the win out front, but would it be enough to make the top 12? Five cars on the line, Q4, race 2. On the inside, Ken Block, the hoonigan in chief. Kevin Hansen, JB Dubourg, Choo Choo and Kevin Eriksson on the outside. At the bottom there you can see new tyres for everybody except Choo Choo. Kevin Eriksson, can he pull off around the outside manoeuvre here? In fact, sometimes here you can go from the outside if people get a terrible start. You can slot up the inside if they all run wide. Ken Block has done a good job this weekend. He's currently sitting P10. He was second in Q1. 19th in Q2, dreadful rain for them there, and then Q3, he was P11. So Block's having a good drive this weekend. Kevin Hansen down in P8, we know how fast he is. Let's see who's quickest away from the line. Block's car twitched just before the right hit the clutch. He ends up P5 on the line. Hansen's going up the inside, but all the way around the outside in a very different way to the Estering. Kevin Eriksson slots into the lead. Choo Choo having a look up the inside of Ken Block. Block shuts the door, and they're all in a train down into turn 2.
Yeah, it's a great start from Kevin Eriksson now. Did exactly what he needed to do from the outside. It looks like there must be good grip on the outside of the start line. A lot of people are getting good starts from the outside. He's done exactly what he needs to do. Into the lead, and Kevin should put in a good time now. Very good driver, good car.
We saw Timo Scheider absolutely flying in Q3, and you know these guys are in the same cars. Kevin Eriksson, of course, come from a rallycross background. Scheider from a completely different, high downforce, super high grip kind of thing. But both these guys are on a mission.
Yeah, brilliant team setup, I think, for them this year. Two absolutely opposite drivers from two different backgrounds, and they're definitely going to be able to get the most out of that car with their backgrounds. Feedback and everything else.
Dubourg slots into the Joker lap. Nice and tidy on the exit there, runs the car out wide. You can get a decent cut back and exit. We're with the leader, Eriksson. You can hear the tyres protesting. Liam, that long left-hander, much longer and more downhill than it looks on the TV.
Yeah, the left-hander starts from the start line effectively. You go around the last corner over the finish line, and from there on, you're leaning on the right-hand side on those two right-hand tyres the whole way round until you get to the head on the dirt, and it really does put a lot of stress on the tyres.
Is this the sort of place where you might think about rotating the tyres around the car because there's so much stress on the outside?
100%. They're going to be rotating the tyres left to right and front to back, because the front right will be taking the most load, so they'll be putting the front right on the rear left and likewise on the other side.
I love the sound of the Focus. You heard Block there light the throttle up just as he came onto the tarmac, transitioning the car nicely, hops it up over the curb. He's hoping to get in front of Dubourg. He's carrying more speed than he does. And Block gets in front of Dubourg. Up top left there, you can see your Joker lap graphics. The tick means they've done it. The cross means they haven't. Eriksson, you see his hand there, Liam, hovering, ready to bash the gears down on the way into turn 3.
Yeah, getting into the corner, it's all action, It's so much going on in the car.
Listen to the crowd. You can hear them absolutely roaring as they see these two guys who've been rivals for such a long time. Kevin Eriksson and Kevin Hansen absolutely going at it, and the crowd were going mad. A wonderful stadium here in Barcelona, which amplifies the noise of the Spanish fans who love a bit of motorsport. Liam, one of these guys have got a Joker, surely.
Yeah, I think Kevin needs the Joker now. He's got a little bit of fresh air behind him.
Why?
Not what either of those guys wanted,
And Ken Block's going to get Ken Block gets the pairing. They're going to get the car back. Eriksson goes underneath, and Ken shuts the door on P2. So Ken's lots in between them. Liam, we spoke about the Ken Block has a look up the inside. He pushes Eriksson. Eriksson's hard on the gas, holds on to it with a massive handful of opposite lock. The front right Ken Block's car is destroyed. Kevin Hansen's right up behind him. He might get a reprimand for that, but great save from Kevin Eriksson. He's got to hold on now until the end of this lap. There's a bit of tyre smoke coming from the rear corner. Wow!
Kevin really is the king of sideways. You know,
Yes.
seeing what he does, and he's the man. If he can hold on to it, he's the one who's going to do it. So great action here, though.
Target time 3:14.2. Sebastian Loeb, the leader at the minute. That tyre will hold on because there's just a couple of corners to go. Over the jump comes Kevin Eriksson. Ken Block's right behind him. Hansen, I think, made a mistake by jokering with him. Either way, these guys come round. What's the time going to be? Lights the tyres up over the finish line. 3:14.7. He can't match Sebastian Loeb. That was a brilliant race. Fantastic.
Ken doing a brilliant job. Absolutely terrible start. Last off the start line, bogged it on the start line, and came back from nowhere, basically, put in the good laps and almost came out to winning the race.
Good job by Ken Block. Here is the result. Kevin Eriksson takes it, but Block managing to slot in front of Hansen. Ken couldn't quite shut the door on Eriksson. Eriksson carrying the speed off the Joker. Here's where they slot in. Loeb leading from Eriksson, Block, and Kevin Hansen. Dubourg and Chuchu slotting in further down. So Sebastian Loeb is still at the top of Q4 at the minute, but he needs an absolute result. Otherwise, he's not going to make the semi-finals.
Kevin, that was a very busy race. You must be happy to come out in front from that.
Yeah, but I mean, completely unnecessary hit by Ken, I think it is. I don't know what he's thinking about, but I guess that's how he does it. So maybe we get back in the future. But anyway, it's been a bad luck weekend so far, but it was good to show that the car has good pace, and Timo showed it as well. So I hope this was enough to secure me a semi-final spot.
Kevin Eriksson not very happy. You can see why the damage there. It says Ken's going to get it back in future. Well, we'll see about that, but reminded me a little bit of his dad there. Here's the replays from the start.
Yeah, like we said, Ken, bad start there, but obviously later on comes through. Kevin getting a brilliant start from the outside, making a great move, coming in from the outside and putting in good laps. Very good heat time, not quite enough to go fastest, but a good time. Kevin putting on the pressure the whole time and having basically a rerun of what they were doing back in the RX Lights. You know, rivalry race, both young drivers, very good. This is the instant where obviously Ken, big hit, but you know, Ken's under pressure to get some good results. So good finish.
Two races to go in Q4. On board with Johan Kristoffersson. It's really interesting that he's wearing this open face helmet. He told me he always wears closed face because it allows him to focus on the race. Not today and not yesterday in the afternoon either. So Kristoffersson on the inside. Guy Wilkes in Kristoffersson's old car alongside him. Timurs Janov in the middle. Reinis Nitish and Topi Heikkinen on the outside. So those guys will need to avoid each other. Guy Wilkes is currently in P11. It'd be great for him to go through, but looking at third for Kristoffersson, fourth for Heikkinen, seventh for Nitish. Those guys are right up there. Kristoffersson and Nitish going with the new tyres. You saw the graphic at the bottom of your screen. If it's green, they're on brand new boots. Thumbs up from the marshal. This one's good to go. Can't wait to see if Kristoffersson's going to show that mega pace that he had, or is he not going to get the start right? This time he gets it right. Not as right as Timurs Janov and Heikkinen. Timurs Janov and Heikkinen are flying up towards turn one. Kristoffersson dips the brakes, allows Timurs Janov to shut the door. Right behind him is Heikkinen. Kristoffersson now has a look up the inside. Heikkinen just spots him in time. Wilkes is trying to go with him. Bang from the back of Heikkinen into the back of Kristoffersson on the brakes, and you saw the nose of the car dive there. Liam, great driving from these guys. Proper racing, but avoiding each other too. Good awareness.
Yeah, professional driving, you know, staying away from each other, doing what they've got to do. It's going to be close. They're all very fast guys, and they've got a lot of work to do, but it's great to see them racing fair and staying away from each other. Brilliant job here by Timo. He's got nothing to lose at all with the position from yesterday, and the start he put in yesterday, it'll be great to see how fast he can actually go in this car. It's a very, very good car. It's got a lot of potential, and it's going to be really interesting to see how fast he can go.
Come on, Timurs Janov. Everyone wants to see that win. It hasn't been since 2012, back when Liam would have been competing with him as well in Supercar in European Championship. So Heikkinen ran well wide there on the exit, used all the paint. Timurs Janov backs it in, but looks like he's missed the apex a bit to me. And look behind him, there's Kristoffersson, technician, front left wheel, right tight in on the curbs.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant driver, Kristoffersson. Always doing what he's got to do. Fastest lap there by Timur. fast lap by Timmer, so that was on the first lap, actually, believe it or not, from the start line. So
interesting.
Great to see. And like I said, the car's going to be good, and I'm really, really excited to see how fast he can go.
Well spotted, Liam Doran, fastest lap of the day. And he runs wide. He runs wide. Timmer Zianov's run wide. Kristoffersson up the inside. Timmer just gives him a tap as they go over the jump. He's right close to the barriers, but that's the same place yesterday. The Solberg ran wide. An extra went up the inside. Liam, that right-hander is critical, and it's hard.
Yeah, having driven here before at this track, it's absolutely imperative on that right-hand corner before the jump. You must be on line. You cannot put the wheel 1 foot off of line. It's so slippery off of the line, and Timmer made a slight mistake there. You know, he's not really under pressure because he's got a lot to do to make it up, but I was expecting to see a really good time from Timmer. It still will be, but it's a shame to see him make that small mistake and lose out to Kristoffersson.
He can follow Kristoffersson now, can't he? And to be fair, I mean, yeah, it's one duff lap. It's not quite as bad as a half spin, but let's see when these guys go for the joker. So Wilkes and Heikkinen have jokered already. Loeb is the leader at the minute, 3:14.2. Look at that. Kristoffersson slightly sideways behind him. Timmer just a little bit more, runs out onto the dirt. Either of them get a joker now. They are indeed. Kristoffersson and Timmer Zianov both go in on this lap. Nitish decides not to. Nitish comes down the standard lap points with a cutback on the exit. Kristoffersson tries to go the inside, but Nitish comes in.
Very, very awkward move for Kristoffersson there to go in, and that making the move, gets it back, saves it. Brilliant job. Like, I was very surprised to see him go in the joke lap a lap early, because he has absolutely no need to do it at this point, and we knew it was going to be close with Nitish, but great job, got back past, and is back in the lead of the race.
So yeah, great, a good analysis, Liam Doran. So really could have waited till the last lap, because where Nitish was, he was going to come out behind him. We know the cutback here. If your spotters on it, they're going to tell you, shut the door, keep it tight on the left-hand side. It's hard to go around the outside, and you've got the defensive line, but still Kristoffersson did it. Look at him pressing on. Target time, bottom right of your screen now, 3:14.2. He comes around the last right, into the left, keeps it tight. Nitish dives into the joker over the line for Kristoffersson. He's destroyed it, 3:11.1. And that, I think, is the fastest time of the weekend. It is, yes. So this morning we had a 3:12.4 from Ekstrom, 3:11.1 from Kristoffersson. Absolutely brilliant. The crowd are on their feet. Applause from them under the Spanish sun. Kristoffersson, as calm as ever, heading back to the paddock, and they will have just told him, P1, Johan, P1. Here's the result. Johan Kristoffersson takes it from Timmer Zianov. Timmer Zianov's time would have been good there as well if he hadn't just run wide. Guy Wilkes with a 3:14.9. That's pretty good too. There's where they slot in. Wilkes goes 5th. Sebastian Loeb drops down to 3rd. That might be enough to see him in the semis, but Kristoffersson, an absolutely brilliant job. The Polo is on fire.
Johan, that's quickest so far, P1 at the moment. How did it feel?
That was quite okay. I have to say that the start haven't been the best, but or let's say that I haven't felt so confident on the start line, but now I get a start pretty good. Timmer Zianov had a really good start, and from there I was just trying to stay safe against Heikkinen on the first lap, because we are very tight in the intermediates, but yeah, the car is working fine as long as I'm on the track, so I will see.
Thank you, well done.
Thank you.
Johan, very pleased with that, clunks the car into gear and rolls away. This was him off the line. Look for Timmer Zianov. Is that Timmer on the right side? I don't think it is. I think, yes, it is. So Timmer with a great start, and Heikkinen couldn't do anything around the outside. Look at Timmer there too. The lightest of touches on the steering. Kristoffersson made the place up. Liam, it was a really cracking race, that.
Yeah, it was a really good race, and it's just a shame Timmer made that mistake, because I think it would have been a brilliant time from Timmer, and he would definitely be P1. He definitely wasn't holding Johan up at all.
How many cars on the pace, Liam? But that's what's so exciting. You know, when we come to these seasons, all the drivers, of course, they want to have this massive advantage, but really, it's good to see all the teams are on the same pace. Cannot wait to see what's going to happen for the rest of today and the season. Well, we can have a look at the team stats for EKS, who, of course, have picked up Audi Sport backing over the winter. You know already, of course, that they are the world champions 2016. Heikkinen on the right, Ekstrom on the left. Ekstrom 38, Heikkinen 26. Here are their stats. 18 times in the final for Ekstrom, 15 for Heikkinen, 11 times in the podium for Ekstrom. 6 event wins for him, 2 for Toppy. Of course, Toppy winning twice in Belgium. 92% of the time, Ekstrom qualifies for the semi-finals. That is a pretty impressive statistic. Final race of qualifying. This is the one that decides who gets the all-important top qualifier spot. on board with Ekstrom. What a guy, Liam.
What a guy. What can you say? Brilliant driver. You know, what hasn't he achieved, though? One of my heroic drivers when I was growing up, won the Race of Champions a few years ago, and drove Sebastian Loeb's car, actually, and beat him in his own car, and I will never forget seeing that.
Brilliant, brilliant performance from him. There's Bakkerud, visor down, gets the car ready. Let's see the lineup for this final race of the qualifying here in Barcelona. On the inside, Matthias Ekstrom. Timo Scheider, currently top qualifier. Will he be after this one? The two DTM guys are going to go into turn one together, but in Rallycross. Andreas Bakkerud, Petter Solberg and Timmy Hansen. And Timo Scheider, the only driver who hasn't taken new tyres. Ekstrom, interestingly, new fronts only. Well, this will be interesting. Scheider and Ekstrom alongside each other. None of these guys are shy up into turn one. They expect fireworks. Fireworks, Rallycross style now as the anti-lag comes on. Popping and banging. Green light. Oh, dreadful start. Hansen's gone backward. Looks got the best. He's going to try and shut the door on Ekstrom. That's what happened yesterday, and he ended up in the wall. Solberg goes around the outside. Solberg's on the dirt. Big tech stepper. Petter Solberg holds on. Ekstrom goes up the inside of him. Scheider's trying to as well. Petter's going to try and go all the way around the outside, but he can't. And he's getting pushed left, right, and centre. He eventually gets in front of Hansen, but Solberg there, Liam, that's the longest moment we've seen all weekend.
Yeah, it is. It went on for a while. We weren't sure if he was actually going to get back into the track at all, but Andreas there making a massively great start and doing exactly what he needed to do to make up for the mistake yesterday.
He did. I mean, yesterday he turned in across Solberg. What's your opinion on it? You know, he kind of shut the door. Did he not give him enough room, or could Solberg have lifted?
It's a really tough one. How do you decide? You know, there's always a second opinion on everything, and I don't necessarily think it was a big mistake, and definitely wasn't intentional, but it did cause Petter a problem. So, you know, you've got to look at it from both sides.
Solberg goes into the joke lap on lap one. So Solberg obviously deciding, with not the best of starts, that he's going to get straight into the joker and get amongst your Bakkerud with a little nip on the handbrake there. You can see the car turning. We go on board with Ekstrom down the hill.
Yeah, great move from Per there to get into joke lap early. Obviously, he's able to do the fast laps. He's in a very good car, great driver. And in this last heat with all these fast guys on the track, there's absolutely no risk of him getting stuck in traffic. So great move for him to get in the joker and try and put the laps in and catch back up.
Bakkerud slides around the right-hander up towards the crest, on board for the jump. Brilliant, but listen to that, lands perfectly. We heard the Peugeot earlier clattering on landing, but that lands like a cat.
Yeah, there's absolutely no clattering going on around with the EKS cars, obviously.
Brilliant, brilliant stuff from them. Into the joker lap that time was Scheider. Scheider comes out behind Solberg, so Solberg's gone, well, mind you, Scheider was behind him when he joked anyway. I think it's going to depend, isn't it, on the gap to the guys in front. Not really sure how much longer the joker is here, Liam, so far. We need to have a look at that.
It's going to be really interesting to see how hard Per can actually push you and see if he can make that gap up. Andreas, obviously, fast slap of the day by Petter, so he's doing exactly what he has to do to catch Andreas up in the middle of the race.
Solberg then on a real mission. You can see the tyre smoke in the background. We used to see that off the rears on Petter's DS3, and sometimes he'd use the tyres too hard. Remember, this is a brand new car. We don't know what the tyre use is like, and we know that makes a big difference come the semi-finals and the finals. Is Ekstrom going to release himself to the joker? I don't think he wanted to do that, but he's committed to it, Liam.
He didn't want to do that at all, yeah. Andreas...
Solberg's come out in front. Solberg's going in front. Bakkerud goes around the outside. Bakkerud gets back in front of him. Solberg stops into P2. Ekstrom's going to have a look at the outside. Solberg goes late on the brake to the inside, and Ekstrom has to give it, and that's a disaster for Ekstrom.
It's a disaster for Ekstrom, but absolutely great call by Misery for Andreas to get into the joke lap. Petter was catching all the time, so Andreas needed to get into the joke lap to get it over and done with before Petter got him up, and great decision there, great move. It works out brilliantly. Ekstrom, disaster. He needed to stay out on the track and command this race, be in the lead, stay in the lead, and for him to have followed him then,
not ideal.
Tough.
So Misery must point out is Liam's nickname for Andreas Bakkerud spot, and those guys have been friends since they were kids, and it was a brilliant decision by Dave Mansfield to get Bakkerud in. Bakkerud comes around, takes the line, and with it, he takes Q4, 3:10.5 for Bakkerud, 0.6 of a second faster than Johan Kristoffersson. Bakkerud wins Q4. Brilliant drive, covered off the other drivers nicely with that joker lap as well. He loosens the belts, pulls the fingers off the gloves, and there will be a bit of relief there for both him and Dave Mansfield. Misery. He's not going to like me for saying that, is he? Bakkerud takes it with a 3:10.5. Petter Solberg with a 3:10.9. Ekstrom, Scheider and Timmy Hansen. This is where they slot in. So both Backrud and Solberg faster than Kristoffersen. Ekstrom Scheid, Timothy Hansen. Lopes down in P8. We need to see whether or not that's going to be enough to get him into the semi-finals. If it isn't, he'll miss out for the first time in his World Championship career.
It's a big smile on your face there, Andreas, at top of Q4. Particularly sweet to come out, I guess, in front of Petter Solberg out of the Joker.
Yeah, it was really close. He tried to pick the inside line, and luckily I could run around outside. It's just so nice to be back competing, you know, in the World Championship. It's so great to be back, and you know, rubbing is racing, and rubbing is for sure Rallycross, and this track allows a lot of that. And it's good to be in my first semi-final of the year. I feel the team is doing well, and I have a great car.
Thank you, well done.
Thank you.
Backrud very pleased indeed, and rightly so, after the problems yesterday, of course, when he had that non-finish in Q2. This was great, look, turned in, and to be fair, Ekstrom gave him space, didn't he? Just a tiny lift off the gas to make sure that nobody had a problem, unlike Petter.
I think the strongest thing to note here after this race was that Petter is very, very fast. I wasn't expecting to see the difference be that big. He made a massive, massive chase on Andreas and pulled in a big gap. So I think going into the semi-finals, Petter and Johan Kristoffersen are definitely the ones to watch.
So Liam Doran tipping the guys from VW RX Sweden, PSRX VW Sweden, to give them their full name. Petter on an absolute fly. Couldn't take this one, but what a recovery from a not brilliant start, as you say, ending up there. And it was so close to taking the lead as well. So great tactics and a great drive. Look at Backrud there, slight dip on the brake and then chucks it around the outside.
Yeah, it was like coming back to before. It was a definitely good call coming into the Joker of that lap. If he'd waited to the last lap, there's absolutely no way he would have been beating Petter. So good race and great result for Andreas.
Let's have a look at the standings after Q4. It's Timo Scheider. Scheider takes his first ever top qualifier in the World Rallycross Championship on his debut as a full-time driver. Brilliant performance by him. Behind him, Matthias Ekstrom goes P2, the world champion. And of course, both those guys ex-DTM. We're going to see a few DTM drivers wanting to come here now, I reckon. Johan Kristoffersen, Andreas Backrud, Petter Solberg, Timmy Hansen, Topi Heikkinen, Guy Wilkes. Brilliant to see one of the independent drivers through to the semi-finals. Ken Block, Reinis Nittisch and Kevin Hansen. So both of the third drivers have gone through, along with JB de Boer, but Sebastian Loeb, for the first time ever, does not make the semi-finals. Ericsson has missed out in 13th as well. Baumanis and Choo-Choo not going through. Gronholm, Lemonnier, de Moustier, Timozyanov and Shisharit will go no further in Barcelona.
So, Timo Scheider, first race weekend as a full-time Rallycross driver and your top qualifier. Did you think this could be possible?
Definitely not. This sounds so crazy to me after the last 1.5 days. It's just amazing to feel what happens. I came here yesterday morning. I didn't had any launch before with that car, so I just went to the line and I did it, and it went out awesome. So we're P1 after the qualifying runs, and this is just amazing. The car is giving me amazing feedback, and this is the reason why we are quick enough to be there. Sure, it's still a lot of work to do, still a lot of to learn from me, but overall I'm just excited to be that far on the top. Yeah.
And give us a sense of how much of your DTM experience you bring to this, how much that helps, or if this is just a completely different discipline.
It's completely different, for sure. But there was a nice interview from Petter Solberg telling that the DTM guys probably have the overview and can read the race a bit better. I don't know if that's the case, but for sure this is one of my strongest points, to read situations and gaps and goals where to go. And this is, I guess, something I can pay in. But yeah, and the rest is just learning and driving.
Well, we wish you all the best. You've got a semi-final and hopefully a final, potentially a race weekend win.
Well, don't want to raise that too high, but in the end, it's everything crazy till now. So everything comes now is a bonus, so let's see what's going on.
Well done, thank you, Timo. Let's swing around here to the other driver in the MJP. Not quite so happy, Kevin Eriksson. First of all, real shame that you're just out of the semi-finals at the moment. Talk us through what happened in Q4.
Well, I mean, I had a really good run, and then Ken Block gave me a very unnecessary push, and I lost, a lot of the push, plus that my whole car were broken, the whole wheel were 10 centimeters pushed in. So it was just pure luck that I could finish. they don't do anything for him. They don't give any penalties, anything. They don't even look at my video when they do the decision. And now they say I can't do a protest. So it's a little bit for me. They try to save their biggest stars.
But you must understand, I mean, sometimes they judge something as a racing incident and sometimes they have a different opinion.
Yeah, I understand that, but on pure tarmac, 100% grip, he's a couple of car lengths behind, he brakes way too late, hits me hard. I mean, you can push, but this was a hit, and I mean, half his front were stuck in my car, so for me, this was not a race incident. I think he knew what was, you know, we were fighting for the semi-final spot, both of us, so sad to say, but I think he knew what he was doing.
Well, thank you very much. Disappointed for you, but it's good that we see the speed in the car. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Well, hello from Barcelona in Spain, the Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona to be precise. There you can see the pre-grids for the first semi-finals of the 2017 FIA World Rallycross Championship. It is great to be back. The atmosphere here has been fantastic and the tension is building ahead of the first semi-finals of the day. Cannot wait. My name's Andrew Coley. Alongside me is Liam Doran reporting from the paddock, and everywhere else around the circuit will be Neil Cole. You can see the drivers getting their earpieces in and ready to go. We ought to have a little look and see who's made it through to the semi-finals. Here we go. So your top 12, then Timo Scheider with his first ever TQ, then Ekstrom, Kristoffersen, Backerud, Solberg, Hansen, Hakkinen, Wilks, Ken Block goes through as well, Rainis Nittish, Kevin Hansen and JB DeWalk. Sebastian Loeb in 14th missed out for the first time ever. He had a 100% record until this weekend. Obviously, Baumanis, Eriksson, Choo-Choo and a few more. The top 16 get points, only the top 12 go through. The odds go to semi-final 1, the evens go to semi-final 2. So it's a double DTM pole with Scheider on pole in semi-final 1 and Ekstrom, the world champion, on pole in semi-final 2. Neil Cole is down on the pre-grid and he is having a catch-up with our world champion Matthias Ekstrom, so we can hear his thoughts ahead of the first semis of the year.
Matthias, you've got the number 1 on the car. Front row of the second semi-final must be the perfect way to start your title defence.
I mean, it's always nice to have a good qualifying session. To be in the front in the intermediate is always nice. I mean, Timo, he did a better job, you must say. So being P2, 15 points is pretty nice.
Yeah, great to see 2 DTM drivers on the front row of the 2 semi-finals, but also good is the work of your teammates as well. All 3 EKS Audis in the semis.
Yeah, I'm very proud as the team owner. Topi and Rainis have both been doing a great job. Topi had a little technical hiccup in his Q4, so he lost out quite some performance for 2 laps. So I think he could have done a bit better if that would have been staying away. But generally, I'm really happy with how they're driving, and so far everything is good.
And strategy into that first left-hander?
Yeah, it's like always, a good start in Rallycross is everything, and then hope that Andreas Backerud is not too wild and crazy.
Thank you, good luck.
Cheers.
Well, Ekstrom's all smiles, looking calm and collected already as he starts the defence of his World Championship. Let's have a look at what we've got coming up for you in the next hour. So, first of all, of course, we have the live World Rallycross Championship semi-finals. The top 3 go through, the bottom 3 go out. On then to the first final for the European Rallycross Championship for supercars. We've already seen the semi-finals here in Spain. It's a great lineup. We can expect fireworks in that as well. And then, of course, we've got the first of our World Championship finals here. Who's going to take maximum points from this weekend and who's going to be standing on the top step of the podium? Well, they're already there on the grid and good to go. You can see in the background Ekstrom waiting by his car with a helmet on and visor down. He's going to be having a look at the lights, just getting himself ready for everything underway. Let's have a look at the grid for semi-final 1. On pole then, Timo Scheider. Absolutely fantastic performance by him, but he is up against it with, of course, the runner-up in the World Championship, Johan Kristoffersen, alongside him. Row 2, Petter Solberg. He won't do anything silly to Kristoffersson, but he will be looking for a way through. He might be a bit boxed in there. It leaves Heikkinen free to try and come round the outside. And on row 3, Ken Block, Hoonigan himself. Great job by him this weekend. Brilliant driving yesterday, P2 in Q1, and then a great drive again in the rain. And Kevin Hansen, the third of the Peugeots, has made it through to the semi-final stage. There are the spotters up in the spotters tower. Myself and Liam Doran are good to go. We're waiting for the marshal to give them the thumbs up. Let's get this show on the road. Here we go then, semi-final one, the first one for 2017. The ready to race light comes on. Look for the green. See who gets the best traction off the line. Oh, it's a very even start here. Around the outside, going to try and cut across, but Christoph can get past Scheider. Scheider drops into P2. Heikkinen's carrying the speed. He's right out on the grass on the outside. Behind him, Hansen sideways too. Scheider goes out defensive, gets it nicely turned in. Kevin Hansen on the lock stops, trying to come around. He's going to end up, and Hansen goes into a spin. Kevin Hansen in the gravel, lights it up. Out front though, Kristoffersson leads from Scheider and Heikkinen.
Brilliant job from Kristoffersson here. Got the start, did exactly what he needs to do, into the lead of the race. He's now able to control the race and do what he has to do. Schneider, unlucky a little bit, got the pole position, been driving brilliant all weekend. But he's in second place, exactly where he needs to be at the moment, so he's doing well. Heikkinen, brave move, great move actually.
Yeah, nice start.
Almost pulled it off. But sitting in a great position now too.
Sensible driving as well from these guys. Although Liam, this now obviously is not about race time, as we see Solberg goes early joker. Look at the style from Solberg there, pushing hard. We saw him do this earlier and he made up a ton of time by getting himself into clear air.
Yeah, great strategy here played by Solberg. Kevin obviously wasn't in the picture because he went off on the first lap. He was basically last car gone in. Big gap now to pull in, and I think he's the man that can do it.
I think he is too. He's going to start to chase down Block. He's the first one he wants to hunt. Top left of your screen, remember, it's 6 laps for the semi-finals. A tick means they've done the joker, a cross means they are yet to joker. Kristoffersson isn't really gapping Scheider, a little bit admittedly, but Scheider, what an impressive drive. And this, of course, Liam, is one of our teams that isn't backed by manufacturers. The level here, so high and so equal.
Yeah, phenomenal. I wouldn't have said anyone was banking on Timo coming in to the first event with his team and going TQ, but absolutely brilliant job by him.
In the background there, Solberg was trying to keep an eye on the gap between him and Ken Block. It was 4.2 at the end of the previous lap, so we'll see whether or not he can gain on those guys. And I wonder if any of these then will joker early to cover off the fact that Solberg's coming, because of course passing is harder than trying to make up the time. Look at Solberg now as eating into them.
I think the spotters over on the spotters tower are definitely going to be looking at the gap that's closing down, so someone like Timo Spot will be thinking about joking him fairly early on to try and help that gap stop being closed up.
And all he's got to do, of course, I say all he's got to do. Oh, Heikkinen goes round. Heikkinen's got a problem. And Liam definitely called that right. It was a sudden slow, wasn't it?
It just looks like a stoppage. I can't see anything wrong with the car, and there was no crash or anything. So it's a massive shame for him to drop out of third position in the semi-final.
So Topi Heikkinen drops out at the minute. Then it's Kristoffersson, Scheider, Block, and Solberg. But remember, the top 3 haven't jokered. So Solberg at the minute stands to go ahead of at least one of those. It might be Ken Block who's going to miss out, who is right in front of Solberg at the minute. Heikkinen, we can't see. Can we see him from the commentary position? I can't, to see whether or not he's kept going or not. But Solberg all over the back of Block. He really obviously would like to be in front of Liam because it would be better, but he's never going to catch up with these two anyway, so I think the best he can hope.
This is the problem that he's come against. He obviously joked early to try and make the gap up. He's made the gap up probably sooner than he hoped with that problem that happened with Heikkinen last lap.
Kristoffersson's gone joker, so Kristoffersson goes joker. Scheider's going to hold it out, so Scheider comes around the left-hander, heads up into turn 1. Kristoffersson goes, he is ahead of Solberg by quite some margin, so Solberg here would have been hoping to be further up the grid, and he's going to end up, I think, third in the final. Third row.
It's interesting strategy, and unfortunately for Petter, Ken's strategy's held him up a lot, and isn't going to allow him to catch up the front of the race. But it's going to leave him third. It's going to leave him into the final for sure, as long as he makes no mistakes now.
On board with Johan Kristoffersson, who has joked, and he's back on the tail of Timo Scheider already. Kristoffersson is a wily character. He's so calm. I said to him, do you ever get nervous? He said he was only nervous ever once when he'd won 12 out of 13 rounds of Porsche Carrera Cup Scandinavia, and he thought he'd look stupid if he didn't win the 13th. So that's a guy with quite a record. Down the box, you can imagine how calm he is in the car. Round the left-hander, he's just got a lap to go. Scheider comes out. Is he going to get Solberg? I think he is. Gets in comfortably, so Scheider goes through. Solberg's lighting up the tyres, Liam. We used to see this with the DS3. How hard's he using them?
I don't think it's the car. I think it's Solberg. I think no matter what car he's going to get in, you're going to see that coming in. He's a flamboyant, superb driver. You know, uses everything the car's got all the time.
Kristoffersson moving the car around beautifully as well. The difference, of course, is the economy of tyre use, and looking at Kristoffersen there, just beautifully laying the traction down. He's going to have slightly fresher tyres, possibly if he's driven like that all day long when we come to the final. Remember, the top 3 of these are going through. Kristoffersen over the jump, he's going to come around the left-hander. Listen to that, lifts off, pops and crackles as he comes off the throttle, goes over the line. Kristoffersen rolls it gently over the line. He knows he's on the front row. Scheider comes through behind him. It is Solberg who goes through in P3, so both the VW cars go through. Ken Block with a huge drift in the background. There's Piniella looking very happy indeed. Decent semi-final to get the World Championship underway, Liam.
Decent. I guess maybe not as much action some of us would hope for, but brilliant job by all. You know, really, really professional driving. Kept it clean. We've seen a lot of incidents in the qualifying heats coming into this, so it's nice to see a good clean race and everyone.
Top drivers basically doing the top driver thing. Johan Kristoffersen takes the win in semi-final number 1 with its 6 championship points. Then it's Scheider and Solberg going through. The bottom 3 you can see greyed out. They don't go any further. They do get championship points. So Kristoffersen, Scheider and Solberg will make up half of the grid. Neil Cole is with Tommy Kristoffersen, who himself is a hell of a rally driver, and we can hear Tommy's thoughts on that first semi-final.
Tommy, must be very, very good for you and the team. Brand new car, first semi-final of the year, and you win it.
For sure, that's perfect for us. That was the aim, to take us to the final. You never know when you meet all these good guys. After a long winter time, you don't know what they're doing at home. So for sure, we are satisfied. We have both cars in the final now, and that feels really, really great, I can tell you, because there have been so lot of hard work. Late decision due to hard work now, and finally we're here, and very good score point for the future. So very happy with that.
Good luck for the final.
Thank you.
Well, Tommy very happy. Here's a look at the replays from that one. Liam up towards turn 1 there, and Hakkinen tried to come around the outside, ended up out in the dirt, couldn't quite pull it off. And Kevin, of course, Kevin Hansen in the background, had a worse problem in turn 2.
Yeah, I think very unfortunate for Kevin to have didn't really even made a mistake, just a little bit of a drift, and then Kevin was basically in the way when he came back in. No one did anything wrong there, just very unfortunate for Kevin, and I was really looking forward to seeing him unfold how I guess showing his potential for the first time properly in the World Championship.
Yeah, how quick he could be. This was Scheider going into the joke lap. Kristoffersen doing a brilliant job to be in front. Ken Block coming round and heading off for his. And if Ken hadn't been in Solberg's way, possibly Solberg could have got up to P2. I'm not sure he would have caught his teammate. Kristoffersen taking the win in this one. Hakkinen stopping mid-corner. Not really sure what happened there, but he's not going to go any further this weekend. Definitely looked like a mechanical. There's that big drift from Ken. Bit of hooning just at the end of the semi. Well, there's Topi Haikkinen's car being taken away. So unfortunate for him, he will play no further part this weekend. Well, that's the first of the semi-finals done. We're going to have a little look at a profile of Team Hoonigan. These are some wonderful new graphics we've had done for you this season. So let's take a look. Hoonigan Racing Division, 2 drivers, of course, Andreas Backrud and Ken Block. Backrud 25, Ken 49. Ken Block, a bit of a legend for all his drifting antics online, but also a very good rallycross driver. 25 times in the final for Backrud, 4 for Ken, 14 podiums for Backrud, 2 for Ken, 6 event wins for Backrud, none for Ken so far, but he's done brilliantly this weekend. Look at that 95% rate for Backrud, making it through to the semis, and 68% through to the final. 38% on the podium is not bad. Backrud, one of the most successful drivers in the World Rallycross Championship. Well, great stuff so far. The crowd enjoying the sunshine. Neil Cole is in the spotter's tower, and he's with Andreas Backrud's spotter, David Mansfield.
So disappointing there for Ken, but we've got Andreas on the front row of Semi 2. Just give us an idea of how much work was done by the team last night to repair his car.
Yeah, he made a job of it in the first corner up there. So the guys had their work cut out, but good team. They've worked on WRC before. They pulled stuff out and they managed to pull it out the bag again. We were home by 10. So, you know, that was great. Andreas is feeling good now for the final. As far as I can see, he's confident, quietly confident, I think, on the front row. We got Ekstrom, so it's going to be a tough race for sure. But, you know, try and keep it as clean as possible, like with the new rules in place. So now we've just got to be sensible and get through the semi, see where we are for the final, and then we can go racing.
But the general level at the first weekend of the season looks to have gone up a step, but the focus is on that step.
Yeah, it has gone up. The level's gone up. Everyone's like completely turned it up this year, and now it's just finding out what the limits are with the new rules to see, you know, what the drivers are allowed to get away with, shall we say, and then it's a case of adjusting to that with respect, obviously, to each other on the track.
I can hear the engine starting, so we'll watch semi-final 2.
Cool.
Well, there's Bakkerud, Liam. He's been your teammate before. What a great driver and what a great bloke as well. Really nice guy.
Absolutely brilliant. He's a great character for the sport. He's hard-working, committed, you know, absolutely amazing talent in the car. I taught him everything he knows.
Yeah.
But no, you know, and it's great to see him doing so well. He really is maximising on the opportunity he's been given by Ken and the Hoonigan Racing Division, and you know, like I say, showing really what he can do.
Well, it's good that you gave him an opportunity, of course, a couple of seasons ago to stamp his mark on the World Championship, and the European Championship, of course, prior to that. Great driver. Well, the cars are rolling into the grid for semi-final 2 here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. There's the Bakkerud fan club up at the top of the grandstand. It's quite a long way from a bar there, so I assume they won't have had too many beers, but you just never know. They do like a good party, and they are probably the most enthusiastic fans in the paddock. They will want to see Bakkerud do a cracking job from the front row of the grid. Let's see the entire of the lineup for semi-final 2. On pole position, Matthias Ekström, the world champion with the #1 on his car. Andreas Bakkerud alongside him. Bakkerud, of course, the only driver last year to take more than one win other than Ekström. Timmy Hansen and Guy Wilkes on row 2. Great to see Wilkes, the British driver, with a permanent drive this year, but an independent entry making it through to the semis. And at the back of the field, Reinis Nitish in the 3rd Audi, and JB Dubourg, who's had a podium previously in Loiac. So another cracking lineup for semi-final number 2, just seconds away from getting it underway. There are the spotters. Dave Mansfield up there. Behind Ken Block's spotter, those guys have both decided to stay up in the spotters tower for now. Ready to race. Fingers in ears from the people behind. That gives you an idea of just how loud these supercars are. Green lighted away. Bakkerud got a great start. Wilkes has gone backwards. Dubourg has gone around, but left on the line. Reinis Nitish is absolutely nowhere. Bakkerud's right around the outside of Ekström. Ekström on the lock stuff, trying to keep it out of the outside of Bakkerud. So Bakkerud now is going to get hung out to dry if Hansen tries to come inside, but Bakkerud manages to hold on for P2. Good job by him. Those guys are now in a line. Good start by Bakkerud and Ekström.
Very clean driving there. Yeah, great start by Andreas. Almost got it around the outside, similar to what Toppy did in the last semi. But great driving. Everybody kept it clean. There was a lot of opportunities there to get a bit messy, but no one did anything. Everybody knows they've got to get through this race.
Timmy Hansen slots into 3rd place. Maybe a tiny bit of contact between him and Bakkerud down the bottom of the track, down the hairpin. Over the jump, Dubourg's made it up. Wilkes down in 5th. Wilkes didn't get the best start, but Nitish got the absolute worst start. It's miles off the back. Wilkes jokers early, tries to get himself some clean air, but it's not necessarily going to work out, because I think Nitish is going to appear just in front of him. Guy will try and get the cut back, but we go back to the leaders. Ekström's just managed to get Bakkerud a little bit, Liam.
Very surprised, to be honest. I was looking at the Volkswagens and the Fords are very, very fast here at this first round, and I was expecting Andreas to pretty much control the semi, so surprising for me, but great for Matthias, doing a brilliant job.
Hansen trying to get up the inside of Bakkerud, but couldn't quite find the traction. Timmy was aggressive on the handbrake. Timmy Hansen's driving style for me, Liam's really improved. Of course, you were involved with the Hansen team yourself a few years back, and Timmy used to be very tidy and a bit, you know, didn't want to use the handbrake. Now he's got the full set of skills to be at the top of the World Rallycross Championship.
Obviously coming from circuit racing, his experience taught him not to use a handbrake because he didn't have one.
Yeah.
So coming in and struggling with that, I guess, in the start, but it's probably the fastest way, but he's adapted over the years, and now is a fully fledged Rallycross driver.
Great to see, absolutely fantastic to see Hansen and Bakkerud around the long left-hander. Tyres at this point, Liam, could they be playing a part? You know, as Ekström maybe saved more boots. We saw earlier on today he only ran 2 new tyres on the front of the car, where some people have been putting 4 on every 2 qualifying sessions.
Yeah, this track's very hard on tyres, from the first corner all the way around to the dirt section, right on the other way around on the other side of the track is one long left-hand corner at high speed, so it's massively hard on tyres.
Interesting, we're getting information through the headset that Ekström's running new tyres on the front and old ones on the rear, so he's maybe even saving another pair that are slightly better for the final. Guy Wilkes, we know in this one, took new tyres on the right, and you were saying, Liam, that's just because of the specific characteristics of this part of the track.
Yeah, it's, like I said, it's very, very hard on the right-hand side of the car on those tyres, because it's such a long corner at such high speed, the temperatures are getting so hot by the end of the corner.
Ekstrom still out front. Look at the top left of your screen and you can see that none of these guys have jokered. Ekstrom there, perfect example. Little nip, then a harder pull on the handbrake. Lights the throttle up, pulling gears down the hill towards the bottom. Back on the brakes again. He's coming on the way back up by now, actually. Backward, and Hansen still right behind him. I'm kind of surprised Timmy hasn't joked. Is that because of the traffic behind?
Yeah, I think he's a little bit worried about getting caught up with the slower guys that are further back with the board and Nittis and so on. I think he's been sensible. He doesn't need to get in front. He's the top three. He's got to keep going, keep a good pace, and try and stay in the top three. If he jokers now, he's at a high risk of getting caught up in traffic.
Liam, knowing what we know about the way this track is and what you were saying earlier about not jokering on the last lap, do you think these 3 or 4 guys will all go on the 5th lap this one?
I'm pretty sure you'll see every single one of them going in, like I said, because on the last lap you're losing time by jokering, so I think you'll see them all playing it safe, going in, making sure they're keeping their position where they are, not doing anything silly.
Ekstrom up the hill into that critical right-hander. We've got a real blue groove appearing now on the dirt section. It's been so dry today, beautiful weather, a complete contrast to yesterday. Guy Wilkes carrying a bit of damage to the front right corner of the car. Not sure when that happened.
I think you'll probably see Timmy stay. No, Timmy's gone. I was thinking maybe Timmy would stay out and try and give himself some fresh air because he had no pressure from behind. Maybe that would have been a better move, if I'm honest. If he'd stayed out, maybe got half a second faster on the last lap. But no, like I said earlier, they all played it safe and they all gone for the joker.
So tried to get the overlap base. He could have done, and he could take a risk because, of course, it's not based on time. It's just based on position.
Just position. He's got no pressure from behind, so it would have been a risk that wouldn't be very high. But sensible. Of course, he knows he's into the final, so playing it safe.
Well, Ekstrom will be playing it safe for the last half of this lap as well. I'm pretty sure the 3 cars you see on your screen right now will be the 3 that you will see in the final in just 20 or so minutes' time. The guys are going to have to turn these cars around very quickly indeed, and then we're going to see a fantastic battle for the very first podium of 2017. Matthias Ekstrom, the world champion, proves he's not going to give that title back easily. He takes the win in semi-2. Baccarat goes through with him, and Timmy Hansen on the back of that train. Guy Wilkes with a Ken Block-style drift over the line. Dubourg and Nittis as well. Nittis doing well to get back to the back of that group, having had a terrible start. The Baccarat fans are happy. I'm pretty sure Ekstrom will be as well. Although, as always, I think he'll be calm right the way through until the final super calculating. Let's have a look at the result for semi-final number 2. Matthias Ekstrom takes the win and 6 championship points. Andreas Baccarat second, Timmy Hansen third. Wilkes, JB Dubourg and Reinis Nittis are out. Well, Ekstrom's rolled up right underneath our commentary position, and I can see Neil Coles crouching down next to him. We can have a chat with the world champion about his first semi-final win of the year.
Matthias, you were gapping Andreas Baccarat. So much more speed in there. What was the secret?
No, I think I had a good clean start. Car felt good. Some minor issues, but so far it felt good.
And you're in the final for the first round of the year.
Yeah, it's really nice, and so far 21 good points, which I'm really happy for.
Okay, good luck in the final.
Thank you.
Ekstrom pleased with that result, and rightly so. Really clean job. Liam, talk us through the start.
Yeah, like I said earlier, Andreas got a very good start here, but just didn't do anything silly. A little bit of an issue with that yesterday for making a similar move. So this time he kept the space there and almost actually lost out in doing so. It was almost too generous, but got back in. Timmy again was very good. Let Andreas back in. They're all being very professional, all knowing they'll win it to the final. No one's been silly about it.
If you want to win this championship, you've got to get consistent results all year. I mean, it's all very well being a hero, but, you know, Baccarat yesterday ended up in the wall, and we could see there, yeah, he gave second to Ekstrom. Now he goes to the final. You live to fight another day.
Yeah, it's become very, very important to be so consistent throughout the qualifiers. Getting to the finals, you have to be consistent in all 4 of them to get there. If you have a mistake or a problem, you're pretty much not going to make it through. And then in doing so, once you're through the events, it's the same deal. It's 12 events, and you've got to be consistent. The level's so high, there's no opportunity really for mistakes.
Good job by Ekstrom. He takes the win in semi-2. We're going to see these guys fight hard, I'm sure, when the 6 of them go through to the final for that top step on the podium. Great stuff from the semi-finals. The crowd have got a lot to look forward to because, of course, we've got the European Supercar Championship final coming up, followed by the first World Final of the year. Well, let's take a little deep breath, and then we can have a look back at the action from the European Championship for Supercars. Their semi-finals happened earlier on today. This was the first of them. Robin Larsson and Anton Markland. Liam, they were so hard on each other, weren't they, up towards turn one?
They were very hard. It was a good fight, and Anton, great start. Amazing pace this weekend by Anton to be leading at the moment, like flying. Really, even if he was racing the Worlds, he'd be right up the top. So brilliant job by him. Robin as well. Both last year's world drivers, you know, so the pace is unbelievable. It's basically at the same level.
Tommy Rustad here, unfortunately, we see having a slight off, was actually the fastest of the Peugeots, even faster than the works cars during practice. So Albertech Racing doing a great job there. But I was most impressed by Anton Markland, who is a lovely guy and a great driver, but at this point, an exceptional driver, Liam, and he's changed cars.
Yeah, honestly, it's been pure class to see him driving the way he's been driving, and great job. Good car, and he's really doing, I think, maybe a little bit less pressure coming down. Let's not say down. Coming back from World to European Championship. Maybe a little bit less pressure allowed him to relax a bit, and yeah, I mean, able to just roll over the line. You can't complain, can you?
Yeah, doing very well indeed. There was Henning Solberg, who spent all night, of course, trying to repair that Beetle.
Unfortunate for Robin spun in that semis, so he was out.
It's a great shame. We'd like to have seen him in the final. Even great shame for Brinterson on the inside here. Boom,
yeah.
And that was it, Liam. Come
Again,
on.
the first corner was really struggling with a lot of the drivers, and it was a strong move there. You know, to put Brinterson into that tyre bundle was a little bit unfair. I don't think it was deliberate by any means. But,
no.
Unfortunate for him, he had great paces again and would for sure have been getting himself into the final.
Hard racing. You see Brinterson's car in the background there. Val continued. The car stayed in one piece. Thomas Paul-Kiss doing a great job. That was Val who spun, unfortunately. I suppose you might say that's karma for turn one, but he's a good peddler, Alexander Val is. It's all about the guys who are out front, and one of those, of course, Ollie O'Donovan. Behind him, Derek Tohill. Great, two Irish drivers through to the final.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant for national motorsport, for back home for me, for the British Championship. It's making it look great. Ollie's one of the front runners in the British Championship, and to come here and to come second in the semi-final, going into the final, along with Derek, both, well, like we said, both pretty much home drivers. A little bit of a water gap between us, but home drivers, brilliant job by them.
Sorry, Ireland, we're definitely supporting you in the final. Cannot wait to see these guys go for it. It'd be good to see if we get one of the home drivers up on the podium. Of course, no bias because we're the commentators, and we would just wouldn't
absolutely
do that.
no bias.
No bias whatsoever. Absolutely stunning day here in Barcelona. We started, of course, the World Championship here this weekend, but alongside that we started the European Championship for touring cars and the European Championship for supercars. And the first of those finals is on the line at the moment. The drivers are waiting to get themselves off into the first of the battle. We can have a chat with some of the drivers who are waiting to do battle now for the first podium of the year. Barcelona also sees the start of the FIA European Championship for supercars. It was here last season that Kevin Hansen clinched the title after 4 straight victories. We will see a new champ in 2017 with Hansen moving on to the Worlds. However, the Eurofield has massive strength in depth, featuring 2014 champion Robin Larsson and 2015 champion Tommy Rustad.
I mean, we was struggling a little bit in the beginning of the year, last year. So I'm very looking forward to a new championship with almost a brand new car. It's only 10% is left from the other ones, from the old car from last year. So I'm really looking forward to fight for a title again.
We've been EuroRX champions in 2014, so we know what it takes to take the gold, and it's a lot of good drivers. I think we are 30 drivers this year, and we got Martin Rustad, that's a former EuroRX champion, and Hedström and Brinterson, that's looking really good. So it's a really tough field of drivers, so everybody want to win, but I really need to win, so it's going to be tight.
Well, the guys are on the line and waiting to go. Let's have a look at the grid. On pole then for this first final for the European Rallycross Championship for Supercars is Anton Markland. Alongside him is Tamas Paul-Kiss. I think we have another look at that. Tamas Paul-Kiss was looking remarkably like Andreas Backerud there. So here we go, on pole then for the first final of the year, Anton Markland with Tamas Paul-Kiss alongside. Ollie O'Donovan and Henning Solberg repaying the team for all that work overnight rebuilding the car. Rennie Munich and Derek Tohill on the back row. So this is a great lineup for the first European Championship final of the year. Have to say, I think my money's on Markland. Liam, do you want to have a quick bet before they go?
No, I think my money's on Markland too.
You're okay, there we go then. Ready to race. Oh, great start by Markland. They've all had to dip it to get around the outside of Henning Solberg. Henning Solberg looking at a problem along with Towers Paukis. Ollie O'Donovan slots straight up. Munich was up there, but Derek Tohill's trying to go around the outside. Paukis pulls around the outside of O'Donovan. Sends the 208 in. He might just pull this up around the outside of Ollie, but he can't. He's right up behind the Irishman. In fact, he's got another Irishman behind him as well. Munich in P5, but out front, Markland's gone.
Markland's gone, you know, like you said, style, he's away with it, but I've got to say there, Ollie O'Donovan from the second row, another great start, same as in the semi, and put himself into a brilliant position in this final.
How does he do it? He's renowned for it, isn't he?
I think I might be asking some questions, so.
Yeah, I can't imagine Ollie at home using the battering machine somehow. He's just not that kind of a guy, is he? But he's a brilliant driver. I was sat with him in his RX 150 buggies, and let's say he's definitely not scared. Markland goes round on the first lap into the Joker, and goes Rennie Munich and Henning Solberg. Henning Solberg, that car was rebuilt overnight, Liam. Per Ekman's team were up till 5:15 in the morning. They got it started just on the grid.
Yeah, a lot of pressure for them, but great job by the team. And for Henning to be bringing it to the final now and hopefully getting a good result, giving them some satisfaction for the hard work.
Yeah, a bit of repayment, isn't it, for staying up all night. Paukis here has lost it out a little bit. Ollie's a great driver. Paukis would probably edge him normally. This is playing massively into Markland's hands, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like this is letting Markland get away with it a little bit. And I think you're going to see Kiss getting the Joker lap pretty soon. He needs to be able to give himself some fresh air. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see him going to the Joker lap this lap because he's not got much pressure from behind. Okay.
Kiss tries to look up the inside, but he can't. Tohill does go into the Joker. Ollie O'Donovan running an older engine in his car. Tamas Paukis has had a lot of updates over the winter to the 208. So good to see these guys working hard on the cars as well. And I was kind of expecting to see a bigger gap in between the world performance and the Euro performance, but actually these guys were super close. Markland early was smashing it in Q4.
Yeah, he was actually would have finished 4th overall in the world Q4. So the pace is absolutely unbelievable. So yeah, against Ollie, to be up there in second place is absolutely amazing.
Imagine if Ollie got a podium, he'd absolutely love it. And at the minute, it's not looking too bad because the gap back from them, I wonder if they might go Joker. He does. Ollie releases Tamas Paukis. He's got to come out in front of Rennie Munich now. He should carry good speed, but Munich sure to try and cover off the inside line. Ollie's going to try and go wide. He's going to try and go around the outside. Ollie O'Donovan is desperately fighting here for his position, but Rennie Munich's got the inside line down. Ollie sends it in. He's going to run wide. Oh, Munich's trying to come back, but Ollie's around the outside, turns it onto the right, onto the gravel. Brilliant job by O'Donovan.
Ollie really is putting out the bag here. Absolutely brilliant job. But that was some great driving there. I didn't think he was going to find a way around, but he did. He's made his stick and looking good for a podium at the moment.
He wants it, doesn't he? He desperately wants a podium. I think it would be his first podium in the European Championship. Be an absolutely brilliant result for him. Out in front, Markland and Kiss haven't jokered. Markland, I think, Liam, with a 4-second gap, is absolutely in the clear. Paukis, what does he do? Because he doesn't really need. In some ways, he'd be better. Well, I suppose he could joke early. What would you do?
He's pulled it with that messing around that Ollie was doing with Munich. I think that Kiss has pulled a big enough gap now that he's safely going to beat Ollie. So I think now they joker this lap. As I said before, they only joke in the last lap because it's slower. So I think you'll see both of the two front guys getting with the joker this lap.
Okay, so let's wait and see if Liam's right. He has been right with the joker calls most of this weekend. He should be, really. He's done a few of them over the years. Oh, Ollie's got them stacked up behind him. Don't lose it now, Ollie. Come on. So Ollie up the hill, smokes the tyres up. That's the concertina effect as they head down into the hairpin. The leaders are coming across in front of the commentary position now. And Markland does slot into the Joker. Paukis is going to go with him. He knows he can't take first, so he needs to go now. Take that extra pace. What's happening on the rest of the track? There's Ollie desperately holding on to third place. So O'Donovan was 4th here in 2015. Anton Markland has never won a European supercar race before. So both these guys are up for a brilliant result. Munich wants the place badly. He's trying to go round Ollie. Ollie's on the inside. He's going to go defensive. O'Donovan keeps it tight on the left. He's going to keep it tight on the right. No mistakes now. And he can get his first ever podium in the European Rallycross Championship. And I promise you, he will celebrate it hard.
Yeah, there's no Joker strategies coming into this now. This is just straight racing because the Joker's all out of the way. So Ollie's just got to keep it in one piece and get the job done.
Over the jump comes Anton Marken, running the familiar 92 on his car. He absolutely loves this polo. Back to the older spec. It suits him well, and he takes his first ever win in the European Rallycross Championship of Supercars. Tamas Pelkis crosses the line in second place. Ollie O'Donovan's going to take his first ever podium. Well done, Ollie. Rennie Munich fought him hard all the way to the line. Tohill was right there too. And Henning Solberg not far behind either. What a great first final for the European Supercar Championship. Look how much this means to Marken too. Marken sends it into a few donuts. He's loving it right in front of the spotters tower, and our commentary position that is. I've never seen Marken celebrate like that. He's quite a calm character normally.
It seems
absolutely lovely.
Prime donut arena in front of us, so hopefully we're going to see a few of those over the next races.
Brilliant. There he is pulling up. That's literally right underneath where we are. Anton Marken with a win. Remember, it's 8 points if you take a win. Then 5 for Pelkis, 4 for Ollie O'Donovan, Munich, Tohill and Solberg. We've got Anton Marken all teed up right underneath where we are for a chat, taking his first ever win in European Supercar. Brilliant drive.
Anton, the car's full of tyre smoke because of your donuts. We can see what it means to you to win this European Rallycross race.
Yeah, I mean, it has been quite a long time since I had a really good result, and I think now this year I have been changing from the World Championship to European Championship and trying to get back to having fun, and that's what I'm having now. I'm having fun and the results is coming, so I think we could see it already in Q4. I would have a top 5 time in the World Championship if you compare me, so the pace is there, and first win for a very long time, so I'm very happy for the team.
You dominated it, lights the flag. Well done.
Yeah, perfect score. It's not bad.
Thumbs up from Marken. Absolutely brilliant to see him having so much fun, Liam. It makes a huge difference, doesn't it, if you're enjoying yourself? And he's smashing it.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant job. And he just admitted to himself there, it's purely down to the fact that he's released the pressure and having some fun. And it just goes to show how much that plays into how well you can drive. The stress of the World Championship and the pressure of the competition level being so high wasn't allowing him to do what he's capable of doing, and finally now he's showing us what he can do.
Yeah, great stuff, Anton Marken. I'm really pleased with him. This was a good fight too. Watch Ollie here, how much he wants this. Munich had a good look up the inside. He was alongside in there, but Ollie was brave, and although he didn't hit the apex in turn 2, it put him where he needed to be in turn 3. It was a good defensive but aggressive drive.
I think great driving by Rennie as well, because he had plenty of opportunities, he had a touch, as we might say, and it was clean all the way and just kept out of the way. So great driving by him to, not put any more pressure on. But Ollie.
Yeah, well done, eh? Brilliant.
Absolute brilliant job by him.
Absolutely fantastic. Marken around the last corner to take the checker flag. Big drift then, and then big donuts afterwards. Pelkis, fantastic by him as well. Well, there are the crowd, 25,000 of them over the course of this weekend. Here are the championship standings after round 1 of the European Championship for Rallycross Supercars. Anton Marken taking 30 points this weekend. That's a maximum score. So top qualifier wins the semi and wins the final. That's a great start. Pelkis and O'Donovan are your top 3 after the first event. Well, there is the Cooper Tyres arch down in the pre-grid. Matthias Ekström underneath it, doing his final preparations. But we're going to go and talk to his arch DTM rival, Timo Scheider. Let's see what he's got to say.
Timo, I could just hear you talking on the team radio, making final checks. How are you preparing yourself for your first final of the year?
Well, just try to keep focused on the last round. I guess we achieved an amazing performance this weekend already. This makes me more than proud, and the MGP boys just have done an awesome job over the weekend, so just keep this and enjoy.
Thank you, good luck.
Nice to see Timo Scheider make it through, Liam. He's another guy who really seems to enjoy the sport, and like Marken we've just seen in the Euro final, Scheider, that enjoyment's bringing great results.
Yeah, I think that coming across from DTM is probably a little bit less pressure and maybe a little bit more fun for him. So again, showing how well he can drive.
Chris Doverson's down on the pre-grid. Neil's managed to grab him.
Johan, you're on the front row of the grid for the first final of the year. You've changed your... Normally when I come to you on the pre-grid, I can't see your face because you've got your full-face visor. What's different this year?
Yeah, unfortunately, the helmet with the proper sponsor is not really working with the radio, but seems like the helmet is quick, so maybe we'll put the same lever on this one.
And what do you think is going to happen into turn 1 here?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I was in the same situation with Timmy Hansen 2015, and I lost it in the start, but I think I will try to make a good start, and we'll see. I mean, Matthias is always driving very clean, so try to stay side by side in the first corner, and then, I mean, both of us have the pace, so try to score a podium, and then we'll see.
Good luck, thank you.
Thank you.
Kristoffersen nice and calm. Ekström with the door shut. He doesn't want to get interviewed, does he? But that doesn't mean he isn't going to get interviewed. He's just trying to keep things nice and calm. Head of the final reaches down to the centre dash, and there we go. Turns the car on. That's what we like to see.
Really got it under control. You know, calm and collected. Knows what the job is. Knows how to get it done. Just the sort of waiting time to try and get that job done. I guess all the guys at the front are in the same position. Kristoffersen doing a brilliant job again this weekend in a brand new car.
Were you this calm, Liam? I mean, you know, people take different approaches to it. He laughs. He laughs.
Of course, always, of course. No, actually, believe it or not, I am pretty calm, pretty relaxed. It's the only way you can do it. If you get too uptight and too stressed and worry and get nervous, you will always get nervous. These guys, no matter how many events they've won, no matter what level they're racing to, they're nervous. They've got butterflies in their stomach. Because if you don't have that, you're not committed enough to want to win. That is the want to win that makes you nervous. You're not scared. You're not scared. You're just nervous. So you're not going to win.
It's anticipation, isn't
so
it?
they'll all be nervous, and professional drivers, and but this is going to be a good race.
I can't wait. There is the new Monster Energy Supercharge Award, and that this year is going to go to the first person away from the line. So you can see on the floor on the left-hand side there's a line. It's got a jump start centre where the marshal's about to stand one up in the background. He's just done it, and he's put the stick down for the driver to pull up to. That gap is 12 centimetres. So basically, the jump start sensors will measure the reaction time from the time the green lights come on till the time that sensor gets knocked over. That's the reaction time, and that person will get the Skull Trophy to hopefully go alongside the Rhino Head Trophy from previous years. Monster Energy do like a good trophy. Look at the vibration on board Andreas' backwards car as he does his tyre clean and launch. Liam, at this point, you're checking things at RPM?
Yeah, of course. He's the idea of those starts is to make sure everything's fine, but also to do final checks to make sure your setup's good. So all being well, no changes, but maybe if they're having any problems, then they'll make some changes. I know the Volkswagens have been struggling off the start this weekend with their new setup, brand new car. So if that's the only problem they've got, then they're not worried too much. But they've been struggling a little bit. So they'll probably be playing with it, but they've got a great pace to make it back up, I guess.
Here's the grid then. Matthias Ekström on pole for the first round of the season, defending his World Championship from the inside. Johan Kristoffersen on the outside of row 1. Row 2, Timo Scheider and Andreas Backerud. Can Scheider get through the gap to his DTM rival? And Petter Solberg and Timmy Hansen bringing up the rear. So we've got Audi, VW, Ford and Peugeot all through to the final. Both of the VW Polos are there. Scheider, the only one who's in a non-manufacturer backed car. Green light, oh, Kristoffersen with the stall. Solberg had to avoid it right off the line. That was massive, he nearly shunted in the rear end. Liam was just talking about how hard it is to get these cars off the line, and Kristoffersen has had a disaster. Hansen and Solberg come together in the rear, but Ekström is leading from Timo Scheider and Andreas Backerud in P3.
Such a shame for Kristoffersen, but it's disastrous. He's been doing so well. Brilliant job. One of the best jobs all weekend, and for that to happen now, it's not over. This is Rallycross, and it's not over to get to the finish line.
It was mad as he's on the back of the train already, Liam, and he was 100 metres back off the start, but it goes to show when these guys are battling in turn 2 and turn 3, they hold each other up, don't they? And that actually gave him the chance to get there, but it's probably going to be a non-win situation, but you never know.
He'll be hoping now that nobody goes into the Joker so he can get in there and get it done.
And Solberg goes in now, and Kristoffersen's gone with him. So, but
team strategy, great job.
Yeah, he decided late though, didn't he, Kristoffersen? But you think those guys have gone together?
I think he's seen him go. He knows Petter's got a pace to win this event, and he needs somebody in front of him like that to get to drag him on. So he's just latched onto the back of Petter. Teammates going to help each other as much as they can. He's seen him go in, and he's dived in with him.
Now Ekström then is surely going to take the opposite strategy. He either goes immediately. Matthias Ekström wins the Supercharge Award, so fastest reaction times by the world champion. Does he go now, Liam, and cover them off in case they start to close the gap back down? So there's no one back there behind, behind P4, Timmy Hansen.
Too much of a risk for him to go this early on. I think you need to save it, to play out, to make sure to see what anything else happens. You might see one of the others going in now.
Hansen, Timmy goes in, so Timmy Hansen comes in. Watch for where Timmy Hansen comes out. He's going to try and get the gas on Solberg. Christophersen's going to go tight. Oh, Hansen up the inside of Christophersen. You could see Christophersen from the tyre smoke was desperately trying to shut the door, but he couldn't. He tries to go around the outside of a turn 2. Handbrakes the car in. He's having a look up the inside of turn 2, but there's no room. Brilliant defensive drive by Timmy there, but also Christophersen trying to close the door.
Trying everything he possibly can. Got such great pace this weekend, and he's able to look for gaps. He's got that much pace. He's all over Timmy. So Timmy's doing a great job though. This will be a good race now with the two groups, the front group having not jokered and the rear group having jokered. It'll be interesting to see how much of this gap that Petter can actually make up.
Over the jump, you can see the score marks in the road.
Andreas is in, so Andreas has gone in to try and get the job done. This is going to be really, really close now.
Oh, he goes all the way around the outside of Solberg. Andreas Baccarat carries the extra pace off the Joker lap. Absolutely brilliant by Baccarat. Fantastic tactics. He's on the handbrake as well and gets the car sideways and now goes defensive. So what do you do now for Scheider and Ekstrom? These guys are in a train lane. There's nowhere to merge. If you come out in the middle of this, it is danger.
Yeah, the other two guys are going to get in the Joker. Probably going to get in the Joker now. If they stay out any longer, Petter's going to catch them up. I guess Andreas is too, but I think you'll see Timo going in the Joker lap now, and Ekstrom will probably stay out.
Wait until lap 5. Let's see as they come around the right-hander. They both go on the standard lap, so that's giving Baccarat the chance to try and catch up. It's going to come down to the merge, I reckon, on the 5th lap. We'll see, because of course it's you need to wait until after the finish line to carry that momentum. Liam, what have you seen?
I think that Andreas is actually holding Petter up, so it's unfortunate for him that he was probably going to be able to make the gap up, but it looks like now he isn't going to have that chance. So as long as Ekstrom keeps it tidy, I think he's going to have control.
You can see they're desperately on the radio, the paper, the stopwatches are out, everything's being calculated, trying to get these guys. Look at the train on the right-hand side, chasing down these two drivers out front. Timo Scheider is doing an absolutely exceptional job, but this is going to be crunch time as they come up to the jump. Ekstrom, I can see from the commentary position, is over it. We're following Baccarat, who's chasing those guys down. They're both into the Joker. Ekstrom and Scheider into the Joker. Baccarat's going to come around the double left-hander. I think these guys have got enough time. Scheider's possibly going to come under attack. No, he hasn't. So Scheider and Ekstrom, the two DTM drivers, are out clear out front. And the guys in the background are going to have to fight it out for a podium spot. Look at Ekstrom backing it in.
Yeah, driving absolutely superbly, all under control. Like I said before the start of the race, he knows what he's got to do. He's a super professional driver and set his challenge and he's getting it done.
Matthias Ekstrom has just half a lap to go. He pulls the handbrake, he pulls the gears. Scheider's going with him. In the background, Hansen is having a little nibble at the back of Petter Solberg. Baccarat's currently sitting in P3. You can tell by how close these 6 cars are together just how close the performance is between these teams. They've all done their winter homework. It's going to be a fantastic season, but the world champion starts his title defence with a win. Scheider goes with him. Baccarat P3, Solberg, Hansen, Christophersen. They are so close. We are in for a mega year of World Rallycross Championship action. Fantastic stuff. What a drive, Liam. What, just cool and calm and done.
Collected, under control. It's amazing to watch. He's so smooth.
Yeah.
He's just an insane talent, really, to watch him drive and to, I wouldn't say run with ease. They're going fast.
No, yeah.
This is never easy. It's not ever easy.
It would have been interesting to see if Christophersen had
I feel like the Volkswagens were robbed a little bit. I feel like if Christophersen had got off the line, he would have for sure taken it harder. And if Petter hadn't have got held up by Andreas that little bit, I think he would have been challenging for it as well.
But what does it say that for the year ahead, mate? I mean, it's exciting, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't want to come here, as we talked about this earlier. Everybody wants to come here and go, oh yeah, I've got a great performance gap, but we don't want that, do we? We want to see everybody all together.
No, and it's spread out so much over this weekend. The pace has just moved from everybody so many times.
We can head across and have a chat with Matthias' spotter now.
Xavier, that was an incredible, for everyone very close in that final, but you got the strategy exactly right. It's close.
Yeah, that was a tough one. We had the pressure from Timo the whole race. And after the guys who jokered first as well were putting a lot of pressure on us. So it was full bull the whole way through.
It must feel great for the team to get the first win of the year.
An awesome feeling to start the season like this, and it's the first step.
Thank you, well done.
Ekstrom climbs from the car, carrying the number 1. And it will continue to be, I think, at the top of the championship standings. Baccarat straight in there to congratulate him. Baccarat loves a decent fight. I think Ford will be pleased this weekend, Liam. You know, Ken Block has got a car which he can clearly drive more comfortably than he could before, and backwards is just about there.
Ken showed an unbelievable pace yesterday in really, really technical and tricky conditions. It was slippery in Q1, and then in Q2 it was raining a lot, and he really did show that he's got what it takes.
Matthias Ekström takes the first win of the 2017 season, and with it, 8 championship points. Timo Scheider in P2, that is his best ever result in the World Rallycross Championship on his first event as a permanent driver. Andreas Backerud, the final spot on the podium. Solberg, Timmy Hansen and Kristoffersen rounding out the top 6. Well, good job by Ekström to take the first win of the year. The fans will be heading down towards the podium and the fan zone now to get up close to these wonderful cars and drivers. Great stuff. Backerud leaning back into the focus. Get his, he's asking for a cap. There we go. He's forgotten the cap, Liam. That's no good, is it?
Yeah, I've been there. You know, it's no, you don't want to carry around in the car with you, do you?
No, definitely not. It's not. It needs a cap mount in there somewhere, doesn't it? Well, we can have a look at the start of the race from Backerud's on board, and look at Kristoffersen. Yeah. I bet his heart sunk. So
unfortunate for him. Like I said, the pace was unbelievable by him. Quality job by him all weekend, and to see it go wrong so easily is a real shame.
Why not gamble higher on the RPM, Liam? Like, just to be safe, because he just wants a rocket ship for the start.
I completely agree, but they're racing the World Championship and no one's in not to win, you know. He's not going to deliberately give up a couple tenths of a second and get too much wheel spin, but looking back now, of course he should have done, but no one's here to not win, you know. He's not trying to make up the numbers, so he's not going to take that risk.
So even though he could have maybe had a more sure start by taking a higher RPM, he would have been a performance disadvantage, so you've got to go for the perfect start, and that's a risk.
They've shown all weekend that their launches are struggling. There's technical reasons for why, but basically they have to go very, very, very high on the RPM to get the wheels spinning to actually get moving. That then creates too much wheel spin and it's not the ultimate start. So by then lowering the RPM and the boost to try and get more traction, is then running more risk of it bogging, and they haven't got that solution yet. So
that's what they'll be doing before Portugal. They're going to be in an airfield somewhere, aren't they, doing 150 starts?
For me, I'm massively impressed. For me, they are the team this weekend. I know the results don't show that in the final, but they have done a brilliant job. Volkswagen and PSRX have done a brilliant job, and their pace and control, really, all weekend has been brilliant. So they're going to be definite contenders.
They're a huge threat, aren't they? They're an absolutely huge threat. There they are. This was Hansen getting up the inside of Kristoffersen. Kristoffersen tried hard there, didn't he, to shut the door. You could see from the amount of tyre smoke, and that's where he's made a huge input, hasn't he, of both throttle and steering to definitely try and get back to the inside line. He couldn't, and Hansen was then very clever in his defence through turns 2 and 3.
Yeah, it was amazing to see how close on the pace these three are. They're literally stuck to each other for 4 laps of the race, and hands up, they didn't make any mistakes. They didn't get into each other, which can happen in Rallycross, which is good. Well done to all those boys for doing that. But it was unfortunate. I feel like Kristoffersen was a little bit held up at the back, and then I feel like Petter was a little bit held up once Backer came out.
And Petter, of course, Kristoffersen had the bad start, which doesn't help, and then Petter, let's not forget, had to lift at the start, swerve around Kristoffersen. Yeah. 600 horsepower, Liam. How long have you got to react when a guy that's a car length in front stalls it?
Pulling multiple Gs. When you drop the clutch on these cars with that much power, you pull in like multiple Gs, and great reaction for him to get out of trouble there.
Great stuff. First final of the year is done, and Ekström is the winner. There is the first podium of the year. We've got our winning drivers down there waiting to go and pick up the trophies, but of course they're going to have a chat with Neil Cole first of all. So Andreas Backerud's up first, P3 for him.
Andreas, a podium for you, the first race of the season, but what a way to do it. Some good moves in there.
It was crazy. I mean, first of all, the semi-final with Matthias Ekström, that's respect. He was on the inside. I gave him room, went all the way around in corner 1 and corner 2, and got into the final after that stressful day 1 with crashing the whole car. Just big thanks to the team that put the car together in one piece, I'm just so stoked that we were able to get to the final. And when I got out from the Joker and I see Timmy and Petter trying to blocking the way, and I went around outside with hot tires, I was like, damn it, this will never work. Just somebody up there, please help.
They did. Well done, Andreas.
Thank you so much.
You can't beat an Andreas Backerud interview. Here we are then, the championship standings after round one. Matthias Ekström just 1 point off a clean sweep. Timo Scheider in second place will be over the moon with that result. Andreas Bakkerud is third. Then it's Johan Kristoffersen, Peter Solberg, Timmy Hansen, Guy Wilkes. That's a good performance on his first weekend in the ex-Kristoffersen Polo. Ken Block as well, up in 8th place. Nice job by him. Topi Heikkinen and Reinis Niertisch, the two EKS drivers next to each other in the standings. And look, Kevin Hansen, the third Peugeot driver, right behind the third Audi driver. JB de Boer, Kevin Eriksson, Sebastian Loeb, not a great weekend for him. Yannis Baumanis and Choo Choo are the top 16 after round one.
Timo, the team up in the spotters tower celebrated that like a victory, and up against the factory teams, it must feel like it.
Definitely. We came here as nobodies and as a rookie, so I did not expect anything. But right now, being up on the podium in the final is just an amazing feeling. So thanks to the guys, thanks to the job they have done the last couple of days. And yeah, from here on, we can keep on, yeah?
You stayed up on the bumper of your DTM rival Matthias Ekström as well.
Yeah, so I could catch him slightly to the end. So there's something more in it. So we will keep that in the pocket, hopefully. And next time we try to make it even better.
Enjoy your podium. Thanks, Timo.
I will.
Great job by Scheider. Absolutely fantastic. PSRX Volkswagen Sweden lead the team standings after round one. Well, I say lead, they're equal with EKS, 40 points each. Hoonigan Racing Division on 30, but look at that, MGP Racing Team Austria in fourth on 30 points, then Peugeot Hansen and Team Stard with a couple at the bottom.
Matthias, the team are joint leaders of the championship now, but most importantly, you get the top step of the podium at the first event of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I love Barcelona. It's a city. I also love the track. Today the weather has been awesome. Yesterday was a bit mixed, but it's such a great feeling to start off the year on a high. We had a really hard-fought weekend because we didn't nail the setup from the start, so we had to battle a little bit more than normal, but towards the Q3, Q4, we were better sorted, and in the end, going on top of the podium, I just love it. And for my guys who prepared the cars, we were way too late this year, and this is a present for them. I will give them the #1 trophy to put in the garage, because that's when you work hard, you also deserve this. So that's a big thanks to all of the guys. They know who they are.
But in the final, it was very tight, and it looked like Timo was catching you, but you got the strategy right.
Yeah, I think we had a little hiccup, but hiccups is that's the details. So I had to be a little careful, but I know Timo since so many years, and I know he's not the type of guy who will do crazy stuff, so he's a fair racer, and I'm also really happy for him because he proved a point that he has everything it takes to be a world-class driver. And the Norwegian friend, Mr. Bakkerud. I mean, I love racing when he is in that mood, and we went through turn 1 and 2 like side by side with like 5 centimeters between the cars, and it was so close, but once you find this respect level between competitors, Rallycross is the best sport in the world.
Promises to be a great season. Thanks, Matthias. Congratulations.
Cheers. Woo!
I think that means Ekström's pleased, doesn't it, Neil? Oh, sorry, Liam.
I think so. I think, and rightfully so. I think he should be pleased. Great weekend by him.
I wasn't sure if they were going to have the pace to do the immediate title defence. Yesterday, it was so hard to tell because of the rain and the changing conditions. We weren't really sure, were we, who had it. I mean, and now today, to be honest, I'm still not quite sure. I agree with you that Volkswagen's right up there, but you wouldn't say anyone's going to steamroller it.
No, I think that it's changed massively over the weekend, and literally in every qualifier, it's been a different team or a different car with the pace to chase. You know, so. What it does show is that it's not going to be easy, and it's going to be massively competitive. You know, Team Austria, fast, obviously. You knew Hoonigan were going to be fast. EKS, basically bringing it from last year. Commanded it, not commanded, but, you know, massively fast. And then Volkswagen have come from nowhere, really, because it's a brand new team with pace straight away. So there's literally, Stard, we need to talk about them, really. They had a bad weekend, but their pace will be on at the front for sure. Two good drivers, and the cars are really, really good cars. So it's not fair for them to not be in the fight this weekend. They both had problems, but they're going to be right up there as well.
They haven't had a lot of testing either, have they, Stard? And we know that Stoll obviously has built the cars which are at MJP in the past. To be fair to MJP, they've done their own development since then. You know, we know there's a bit of needle between those two teams, but that's going to fire them up to try and keep up with the manufacturer teams. And to be this result for Scheider is for me possibly the most impressive result of the weekend.
100%. You know, the least expected, I expect, and not because nobody didn't, you know, he obviously can do it. He's a very, 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 he's a world-class driver in DTM, but it's to do it so quickly. He's done it faster than Mateusz Ekström did,
Yeah.
you know. He's got to that position sooner in terms of experience in Rallycross than Ekström did himself. So say he's going to be up there quite a lot. He's going to be getting used to seeing him there. But you know, actually, from my thoughts, the Peugeot Hansen team seems to have struggled a little bit this weekend with pace and with luck as well. So they're going to have to do some work to try and pull it out of the bag to get back up there. You never expect to see Sebastian Loeb, 9-time world champion, down there in 14th place. You know,
they've had a few slow starts to the season. I get the impression from Hansen's pace that the pace in the car is there, so maybe just a bad weekend. But I think 3 weeks' time when we head to Portugal, that's gonna be a good indicator for us of pace. And it's a very different track. You know, we might see Volkswagen. If it's muddy there, Liam, they're surely gonna have to put the radiators back in the back of the car.
Yeah, it's one of the interesting facts a lot of people have been talking about over this first weekend is that Volkswagen are actually running the radiator in the front of the car for the first time, first team. I took a look yesterday and basically they're running the radiator behind the intercooler, so they do have a large intercooler that they need for Rallycross, whereas in WRC they would have had half and a half. But yeah, I think for sure, like I said, they're going to have to switch across for the conditions in Portugal.
Liam Doran, thank you very much for joining us this weekend. Great to have you on board. Some absolutely fantastic racing from round 1 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. You can join us in 3 weeks when we'll be heading up that famous Portuguese mountain to see this fantastic fight continue. Going to be a wonderful season ahead. Stick with us. There's 11 more exciting rounds to come.